Yo guys, how you doing? We're back again with our Minotaur on our ProAcryl road test. And today we're gonna challenge ourselves quite amazingly. Big challenge. We're turning the grey that we've got here into a version of non-metallic metal. That's and there's Twitch is being a dick. What is Twitch doing this time? Let's Twitch, you're great. Occasionally, not great. Can't see any chat apart from my own. Okay, if you're in the chat, say hi, because currently I've only got Desi's chat and Tilts said hey folks a while back. So it might not be Twitch, it might just be that it's quiet, or if you're all chatting, I can't see anything. So if you are chatting and I can't see anything, please just make a note in Discord quick and you know. Oh wow, no, it's messing up for a few people. We got some issues in Discord. People in Discord, can you hear me? Let's go to Twitch. So the broadcast going out all right. I can hear myself talking back. I can see the stuff and things. The delay isn't particularly long. Okay, that's really annoying. I've also noticed that none of my followers have shown up on the one side of the screen. I'm also guessing there's been no like live alerts going out, all that sort of shit. So I'll do the one thing I hate, although no, because everyone in Discord knows what's going on. Yeah, you guys are there in Discord. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to catch up with everything. Yeah, currently Des is just me and you, bro. Just me and you. I've actually put the room into moderator only mode, and Tilts was just an anomaly earlier on. That's what's going wrong. We're going to need to do some brushwork on this, guys. We've got both of our monument brushes. I've just noticed I've just tapped these top down on the tabletop, and that's not actually long enough to cover that. So that's irritating. You couldn't have sprung for another quarter inch of drinking straw. But hey, it's all good. Make everyone a mod. Can you imagine the carnage that would fall out from that? I'm gonna leave Discord open over on this window so I can see some of the chat over there, and we'll juggle the screens a little bit. Right, the plan that we're going through for this non-metallic metal style is we need just keep it grayscale. Not to mix any blues into it. Might glaze some of those in later on if we feel like it, but we're going to put blue like iconography on the shoulder pad. We've got the Dallas Cowboys, or the Dumbass Cowboys. Because obviously it's a Minotaur. Star to do, we've got a player number on the back to do, and the trim might be blue, it might be white, I don't know. We're going to do the cloth white, because I want to see how these things are for painting white. So we're going to get some black into there to get us some nice recesses. I've got a load of white, we've got some bold titanium white, and somewhere in this box of paints, there's the dark warm grey that we used originally. Yeah, here we go. Got that. And I thought there was another grey. Ivory, bright ivory. There's a bright warm grey. There you go. They've got paints that are just named as paints, which is kind of good, to be honest. What colour did you paint that? Blue. What blue? No, no, no. No, I actually just used blue. It's just blue. That's all. Blue. I really like the simplicity of that. I genuinely do. Right, let's get the compressor up and running. At least that's still going. Apparently the app is not working. That sucks. So I managed to just go by clicking the shortcut link that I have, but maybe not everyone can. So let's start off with a black, and we'll be really, really careful with how we airbrush this. So we're going to get into all of the recesses. We're going to go way thin with this. I've got my piece of tissue ready to wipe off all of the excess paint from around the lid. So we're going 2-to-1 flow and proof of paint. There's our black. God, it feels weird not interacting with the chat. This feels like one of my first streams. That's what this feels like. I just clicked on the general voice chat on Discord and yeah, I don't know how to get it. Apparently you've got to like hang up underneath that. There's a hang up button. Last time that happened to me, I just closed Discord. Like, nope, don't need that. Okay. So we've got super thin black. Let's see how this performs. Now all this is going to be kind of non-metallic metal. The skull will do some bone colors on, but otherwise everything that's grey is going to be some version of NMM. The little bits will do by hand. The larger bits will help out with the airbrush. So obviously we want to make sure we don't get any of this on our red skin. So working real close, real careful. Let's get some super dark shadows in here. Basically, my thoughts are, if we're doing this with the airbrush, if we absolutely like ramp up the contrast, then at least it'll look like cartoon-ish metal. Never tried NMM through an airbrush before. Never tried NMM with these paints before. Not particularly good at non-metallic silvers in general, so all of this is a little bit of a learning experience. Let's see how we get on with it. Yeah, going super dark in with these shadows. The black's got good coverage, as you'd expect from any black, really, but this is way better than the Vallejo black. I used that was very, very thick. Yeah, the bot is still working. The bot works currently better than Twitch. Quid, it's okay, bro. I've got you on the screen over there. Saragon, Mr. Enigma, Gitface, Gummer. I can see you guys if I turn my head. So there you go. It's not difficult for me. I'm sure I can manage that. Alright, that's the lower body areas. That was the easy part. This we'll just do by hand. The upper body stuff, there's a lot more of it, and it's obviously close to our lighter skin tones as well. So, got to stay pretty tight in with the airbrush. So we're coming in towards the middle section here. And darken that down, and that's going to give us some brighter areas at the extreme ends of it. Just using my finger as a bit of a mask there. Let's get that super dark in them recesses. Hosting with here, Twitch's Food Bar. I've seen the FAQs. I have seen the FAQs. I had a good read through. If GW thinks that 15 points is the correct fix for Eradicators, okay. Okay, 15 points for on a unit of 3. Sure, that's hashtag balanced. I've had one person say that they think the points increase on Outriders is rubbish and they shouldn't have had a points increase, it's not very good. But then I countered that with the argument of, but now Deathwatch Outriders are actually good, and so that makes sense why they have the points increase, because everything's in the codex. I'm not entirely certain that the plasma gun shouldn't have just been what changed on the Inceptors instead of Inceptors in general. Main unit! Hey, someone made it in, and we can see them typing. How you doing, bro? Yeah, I think that the Inceptor's sort of body should have stayed the same, but the plasma gun probably should have increased in points, because when they made that thing blast, that was obscene. Everyone looked at that and just went, no, that can't. Is that right? Damn. But plasma Inceptors are pretty grim. They're quite nasty. Regular Inceptors aren't really. They're still a useful unit, but they're not something that you generally take. Twitch is annoying. Yes, yes. Today Twitch is a no bueno. Not loving it right now. Oh, itchy nose. Clearly got some weird allergy to Twitch being a dick. So yeah, marine nerfs aren't really nerfs. They're not nerfs like if you're Tau. If you're Tau, ATV nerf, as far as I'm concerned, wasn't even a nerf, because that shit should not have happened. However, I am glad they handled it this way, because I genuinely thought they'd go, all right, cool, it's a vehicle then, which gives definite issues, because then that vehicle goes bailing forward, hits combat, attacks you 5 times each, because why not? I get it. 2 Primaris Marines is 4 attacks. I understand that. It's just, come on. And then goes, right, Gatling cannon, ho! And guns you down as well. I expected them to be sort of like a dreadnought at that point. I'm glad they didn't do that. So I like the fact they just went, no, you can't res your invader. I like that. That's a solid change. But I wouldn't consider that a nerf, because to me that should never have been a thing. Never ever. I love the turn 5 change for player 2. Wow. Wow. This is great. My regular viewers can't get here and watch the stream, but some bag follow bot manages to get in past the filter. I love how inventive they're having to be with the all of the special characters. You can't block it. Unable to fetch a count. Oh, Twitch, I love you. Today you are spectacular, and I mean that in clearly all the right ways. Wow. All of the wow. But yeah, love that change. Turn 5, if you went second, you score at the end of the turn, not the start of the turn. Really, really like that. Because as someone that has very little in the way of OBSEC, read none, I quite frequently would get on a point and then my opponent would walk a grot who's about 4 foot tall up to a 30 foot tall knight and go, my objective. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. And when that happens in your opponent's turn 5, you know you're fucked. Now you don't have that. You still have a bit of initiative in turn 5. I think that's very, very good. I think it's a solid change for the game in general. And I'm very, very in favour of that. Fuck the bot, absolutely, Santi. This is now a stream chat, you've spoken. I mean, you were in both. So I think Des over here is in the real stream chat. Mr. Ian can't even get on here. We're getting some gif of a, I'm going to say Star Wars thing. Strange that Landspeeder's vehicle ATV isn't going by size, makes something game. Yeah, it kind of does. I think that's just more that it's historically Landspeeders equal vehicle. Bike equal bike. Even quad bike equal bike. So, meh. But there's no way the Invader should have ever been able to be rezzed. That was... Having played against that twice, despite the fact that you can't get a game of 40k, both of my opponents that I have played against have been like, oh, I have insert various Angels of Death style apothecary here. I have this. Just going to clean the tip on the airbrush a little bit. But it isn't a bike, that's the thing. So it is. I think the real difference is the quad bike is definitely a quad bike, but the Landspeeder is definitely not a bike. You could argue that it might be better if it had the bike keyword, but it quite definitely isn't a bike. I think that's the real difference there. That's better. So we're still darkening down. Let's get that out of the way. All of our armor panels and stuff. Heresy, you haven't seen a Mandalorian. Everyone knows this. Gamma, absolutely. Big Brom, no, it's definitely not you. Habit 611. I'll tell you what. Let's just get a quick everyone in there. That is part of the assembly structures for Silent King's Throne. Yeah. Yeah, send to 500 people. Bam. There you go. There's the meat count. I mean, well, there's nothing I can do about that. But what's a jet bike here? Because Landspeeder is a big version of that. Well, there isn't one. But again, the Landspeeder is an enclosed vehicle, though, isn't it? It doesn't have a roof, but it has sides and so on. Whereas a jet bike, you're still riding it rather than in it. And that's why I feel vehicle. Quad bike, you're still kind of riding it. I know that the front guy, the driver, is very enclosed as well, but I still think that that's probably why. Landspeeders just aren't bikes. Right, let's get into some of these larger areas now. Oh no, we've still got this little one to do. Well, I thought I'd done this earlier on, just needs a little bit more. We've actually got a little bit of black paint to do as well for his little tail. Let's really get that done at the same time. This little tail that in any game of actual Blood Bowl is clearly going to get snapped off as soon as you knock this guy down prone. At least it's not an end of the month stream. Mate, we just postponed at that point. Don't you worry. I'm never going to fuck people out of that. Watch for about 10 minutes and Twitch dies. I need to refresh. That sucks. Snake, I'm not even reading that out. I don't want that to be true. At all. Darkening down some of these very dim pulled areas of the shoulder pad. It's going to need to remain quite dark. Does this look like NMM? Not even close yet. Got so much work left to do. So, people of Discord, I'll tell you what, if you're going to talk to me at Mohawk in there, because it's going to be hard for me to see that, like, doing all this. But people of both Discord and of Twitch, how have you guys been? Has anyone been doing some hobby? Everyone's on their New Year, New Army kick right now. Who's got a new army? And yes, we've done loads of airbrushing with ProAcryl paints. All the skin was airbrushed. All of this, obviously, now airbrushed. And they airbrushed really well. This we thinned 2:1 because I wanted to have a little bit more control blending this in. And it takes the extra thinning really, really well. It's sort of behaving very much like a P3 paint right now, so we're really, really happy about that aspect of it, obviously. Overall, the paint itself, the product inside the bottle, super impressive. The bottle, less impressive. Have it, no problem, dude. You take care. Thanks for dropping by anyway. I really appreciate it. None of this is ideal, so anyone that does stick around, thank you very much. If you can't, I totally understand. Go do something better. Do some hobby. There you go. Maximize the hang handle and now getting ready to blue stuff, cast my feline skull. Nice, very nice. Been working about it and me sitting in the office doing nothing because the CEO wants to use the phone lines. What? Why does him needing to use the phone change anything? That I don't understand. I don't get that part. But hey, at least you've had a chill day, I guess. I hate days when you can't do anything though. I can't be bored. If I'm bored, the headache is too much. So that would actually do me harm, having a day like that. Crown Blade finishing Ogre Tyrant, nice. It's going to change to actually make some things more of a choice rather than a no-brainer. I agree. That is one part of the FAQ I'm not happy about though, but only for my own army. I have very little choice over my secondaries, and so most of my points come from things like, not exclusively, but things like killing vehicles or killing characters. And quite frequently you'd end up taking an easy 12 off of Bring It Down rather than a hard 15 off of Assassinate, perhaps. And now I'm not going to have that as an option because it'll be, oh, you've got an easy 7 instead of a hard 15. So that then to me isn't a choice. That's a complete no-brainer, but the other way. Going with that is dumb. That's dumb. I appreciate the mods in Twitch chat being there as well, by the way. If you guys could just help out with any people that are... in fact, I can see you are. Jaeger, you absolute babe. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's hopefully going to sort itself out. I don't know if there's any press releases from Twitch. If they released anything saying, oh, by the way, everything's done fucked up tonight. So I managed to get to it first time using the bookmark I have in my browser. So I don't know if the app is fucked. I don't know if there's something along those sorts of lines. But maybe just going direct to Twitch might be a way in. Just gonna clean tip again. So this is something that we don't get with Thramar Black, is a lot of needle dry out, but we seem to be getting that with this. That might be the makeup of the paint. Normally the darker colors don't have this issue. Crown Blade, absolute superstar. Thank you very much, bro. Twitch indeed an arse. Keeps telling me your channel doesn't exist. Ah, damn it. He's caught onto us. But yeah, that change to secondary only hurts my army. I love the fact they went, oh, you know, we've taken away a Border Witch because that hurts psychic armies too much. And we want people to use more vehicles and not get punished by it. So we dropped the victory points you can get on Bring It Down. But any of you guys with Titans can... fuck it. You just stick with what you got. Yeah, not ideal. I don't think they shouldn't be able to maximize it. But maybe they could take those two and combine them in a little way. So maybe a fully Titanic vehicle is, I don't know, 4 points. And then an Armiger is 2 points. So you can still max it against almost anyone that's playing Knights, because you'll either have 4 big Knights or 3 big Knights and some little Knights. So you'll still get that 15, it's just not, I just got to kill those 3 and I'm sound. So I'd have liked it if they were going to change the secondaries around like that, to have maybe done that as well, but I appreciate that I am one of the only people in the world who will think that, because I have a bias. Quite a heavy bias as well, obviously, towards my Knights. So I'm not too fussed if that doesn't happen. It's just, don't say we think some armies are being punished unfairly by secondaries, quote Abhor the Witch, and then not take away Titan Slayer. Main unit, you managed to get back over there. Okay, cool. Brimson Call, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to read what's going on in between chat there and everything here. We've got 45 people up though, so obviously a few of you have managed to get here, which is good. That is good. Right, anything else I want to do with black? I don't think so. So we're starting getting our shadows down for our quasi NMM that we're going to attempt with an airbrush. And the reasons we're doing this rather than just working on our brush blending is because essentially giveaway minis we need to get done in a certain number of streams or less. That's kind of it. Currently, yeah, Nightbringer went at 30. Nightbringer is good. He's a solid unit. There are plenty of people that are competitive players that are saying, oh, Nightbringer is shit. And he isn't. It's just, unfortunately, there's a mindset among a lot of competitive players that is, if it's not optimal, like the most optimal thing, then it's shit. Well, that isn't true. It's just not as good. The Nightbringer is still a great unit. He's got some strong damage protection. I love his Gaze of Death spell. Yeah, he's solid. Would I take him in every game? No. Would I take him instead of the Silent King? No. And speaking of which, Donna-chan, welcome. Speaking of which, who would like to have a quick look at the Silent King? Because he'll be finished tomorrow. Hopefully. Just got some details on some characters to paint, basically, but he'll be done tomorrow. So let's have a look. So here is Zarek himself. You see we've gone with those nice bright turquoise weapons. We've got some gold to put in here. We've got some blackstone to paint up. We've got a little bit of OSL to do around the little power packs on all of these little guys. But he's looking pretty fucking spicy. Got some airbrush OSL to do on these, but I want to make sure that the cloak is going to get that benefit as well. So do all that together. So he's looking cool. I really, really like how he's doing. We've got Eek and Ook. Anyone gets that movie reference? I'm going to be really, really, really impressed. It's one of my favorite films. It's an old film. We got Econuke. Love these dudes. Again, bright blue weaponry. We've got Amrikir the Traveller, who's had some OSL all over his back. He's got his war scythe going on. We've got all this happening. There needs to be a load of washes and stuff put into this, so don't worry, that will be a lot more defined. And then we've got the Menhirs. So you saw these last time. We've done a lot more work on the purple OSL. And that stands out a fucking mile now. Like that's a beautiful purple orb of death. It's not from the Discworld books. No, Econuke was what the librarian used to say. It was a film, and it was a film about a cat burglar and his friend. Also starred Richard somebody. It was one of those things in... It was a British actor. Damn it, Richard E. Grant. It's got Richard E. Grant in it as one of the main characters. You know what, we're going to do the reveal the other way. So here is the Silent King Strike. You've seen we've got all of the Blackstone in there, loads of gold, loads of silver, loads of OSL, fucking everywhere. Loving all of this. You know about Pink Panther? No, it wasn't Pink Panther. Trying to think of the other stars in the film. Also had Bruce Willis. I'm going to have to just go with the main one. I can't remember the names of some of the other people. We've got clearly the best soundstage ever in the world. Ever. Kind of want this as just the soundstage for my Emperor's Champion Noise Marine. And then... I love this guy. This dude at the top, I'm so happy with how he's come out. That gem. Hudson Hawk. Well done, target number 4. Oh, what a brilliant film. Super happy with this. Now, we recorded a video on the gem, ready to be released at a time, somewhere in the future. So if I ever am ill or whatever and need a week and I can't record a video, I've at least got one in the can ready to go. But if you guys really need to know how that was done, essentially it's just dark blue, light blue, and sickly skin with a bit of black. That's it. Right, we're going to try out this one, Bright Warm Grey. Have we ever opened this paint? Let's find out. No, we have not ever opened this paint. Underrated Bruce Willis cult film. Absolutely. Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Fucking quality. Basically, for those that haven't seen it, which I imagine is all of the chat apart from myself, Gitface, and target number 4. Bruce Willis is a cat burglar. He and his buddy Tommy used to commit crimes by singing tunes for their timing. Fucking genius. I loved it. Oh, Bonnie. Ball. Again, we go 2-to-1 with the old Flow Improver for this. Just to be sure we're getting some nice thin paint, some good gradients. Gumbalina, you are in. Am I in? The question that nobody wants to have to ask. Or be asked. Unless it's in a particular tone of voice. And then it's fine. Allegedly. Right. Let's try this out. That is bright. That is bright. This is a brighter version of Celestra Grey. I wonder if this is maybe an Ulthan Grey? You look to be working. I mean, hang on. Only one of us is working here, bro. Gumballina, cut that shit out. Polly, you're in. Okay, we might be in. Discord chat. My god, that movie poster. Oh, fantastic. Right. Let's make this smaller. Moon! Yay! It might all be working. Twitch might have fixed their shit. That's Undead's got the host in. Gitface is here. Oh, hallelujah. I'll tell you what it was. It was just showing the Silent King. As soon as the Silent King was on air, Twitch was like, we've got to fix this shit right now. Otherwise, Zarek's going to kill us. That was what happened. So I'm hoping this doesn't go out uber speckly, and it sort of is. So we're gonna get even more flow improver. Brilliant. This was my big worry about the lighter colors doing this, is that we end up with something that is just not gonna work. We'll see. We will see. Might be able to get away with that. That's still a little speckly, but might be able to get away with it. If not, and we'll thin it with some water as well and see how it holds up to that. Hey, it is what it is. Just going for some very bright grey spots. We can then take some highlights in on this and hopefully give ourselves something that looks close enough to non-metallic. Now, I was talking about why we're doing it this way and not just glazing the living shit out of them. I started saying it's because we have a time limit, essentially, for how long we can take on the stream giveaway minis, which is unfortunate, but essentially anytime I'm not working on commissions, I'm at a loss and need to obviously prioritize those due to that being my full-time job very soon. So we're trying to get most giveaway minis done in about 3 streams. Every now and again, we get one, and I'm like, no, this is a great mini, and we absolutely have to do it justice. We're going to go ham on this, or in this case, beef on this. And we'll... Oh, damn, we missed a load of blue straps down here. Alright. Well, that's fine. That's actually perfect, because we'll have to do some cover-up. And the blue will work quite well for that. Trying to hit the top of that area. Just mask this off. Do that again. Can't see my sub options, but we're here. Well, as long as that is there. No sub, no follow. It's alright. Almost everyone here is a sub. Most of you guys follow me already. We're still aiming for that 3,000 subscription goal. Not subscription goal. Fuck that. No. Don't. No. To all of you in the chat that are like, we can make this happen. No. Follower goal. 3,000 follower goal. Hoping to get that done by our stream birthday in April. Right, so we've got a few little highlights on this. It's not really looking like metal, but we're getting somewhere close, and we can... That's good, Nightmare. See, Polly, I knew it'd be someone. Twitch might actually die again. Yeah, you're right. You're right. For real this time, though. Well, that one's going to be super difficult, so let's cheat. Where there's a will and all that jazz. The old ghetto shield. Personally, I feel this is something that I should be given a medal for. You know, we are reduce, reuse, recycle, very environmentally friendly. You know, could be using any like silly putty, but no. Silent King's instruction manual. That's where it's at. Right. Right in here on the back of his elbow pad. We're working really slowly to try and avoid the speckling that is still happening. We'll clean the tip, then we'll add some water to this and see how it goes with that. We haven't tried thinning them with water as well yet, see how they behave. So we'll give it a shot. I'm going to buy stocks into Roblox. Wait, what? Hate that liquid masking tape stuff. To be honest, I don't really dislike it. It's just it's so much work fucking around with. Yeah, it's just not loving it. Yeah, apparently going public, apparently valued at 29 billion. Fuck me. Okay. Damn. Anyone know how much Lego is worth? Right. My take on your Termi Necrons is coming together. 20 Warriors, 25 Scarabs, Royal Wood and Plasmas have done in the last few days. Nice. Merlin Miniatures, how you doing? Snake, watching on Xbox. Hey, I'm on TV. How's it going? Timmy Spruce, can't see Chapter, I'm here. Well, it's okay, bro. As long as you're here, that's all that matters, right? At this point, I'd almost rather you can't see the screen with this ghetto-ass non-metallic metal that we're currently working on. I'd like to have been able to thin this down further without the speckle, but maybe it's just I'm too used to working with acrylic ink for stuff like this at the moment, which obviously is a lot finer, and so speckles a heck of a lot less. That might have sort of spoiled me a little bit. I'm just working with the absolute thinnest possible paint right now to try and get these blends in nice and smooth. It's working. Is it perfect? Not even close. But this isn't a competition mini, so it kind of doesn't matter. Just hitting some of the lower edge of this shoulder pad. We've got a really nice shape to it, so may as well get in on all of this. Twitch having struggles. Fuck yeah. Millimeters, I'm good. I'm alright. We've had a busy day. Very busy day, but it's been a very productive day, and I never mind one of those. In fact, I love productive days. Thursdays is my day for editing. So normally, if I have got everything done early in the week, so ideally Monday and Tuesday, bossed out the videos, ready to be edited, then on Wednesday, I will do my editing. So that Thursday I've just got some tidy up bits to do, maybe do the voiceover, you know, a couple of smaller elements to the overall edit for our videos for Patreon, YouTube, whichever it might be that week. And then you just get on with some painting. However, this week, whilst I did finish everything off on Monday and Tuesday for our Void Dragon for the video, I did want to... I'm going to sneeze. Oh. 1+ saves, put them in a Discord, bro. !whip. We'll be doing that towards the end of the stream. If you can't hang about, the stream will be up on YouTube as a VOD, usually within about 10 minutes or so of the finish of the stream. Depends on how long it takes to do its magic. But I normally just put it straight up afterwards, not long after we've raided, so that I'm keeping myself honest with it and making sure it happens. But by all means, like, chuck it in the whip and we'll have a look in a bit. But yeah, so this week, rather than doing that, I wanted to try and get the rest of the Silent King finished, hoping I could base everything all at once. That didn't happen. We're a little bit behind on the Silent King, but he will be finished off tomorrow, I'm hoping. And there'll be some pretty epic looking pictures of him for you all to have a gander at. There you go. So we had a lot of editing to do today, which means that I started editing about 11 o'clock this morning after I got back from my girlfriend's, and basically didn't stop all day at all. My dinner was a cold chicken breast today, which is not necessarily the best dinner ever, but it was still tasty, so it's okay. It's okay. And I've essentially got some soup here, so why not? Paint a pink mini. I think what you should do is maybe a Harlequin. There's some really cool Harlequin models, and you could do black and pink with maybe some like diamonds or motley, something along those sorts of lines, and that would look really, really sick. Irish soup. There is an Irish element to that soup. It's not the one you think it is. It's mostly coffee in my soup. see, Irish coffee. Irish coffee, I'm assuming is like French coffee or Italian coffee. It's from Ireland, right? That's the way that I've got a can of Irish coffee soup. That is the way it works, right? I mean, Twitch is running around with their hair on fire right now. They haven't got time to ban me for that shit. Probably. Alright, so we're starting to get our panels working up. Does this look like NMM? No. Does it look like metal? No. Is it some nice gradients? Yeah, sure. Sure. Hopefully when we've got some actual brushed highlights in here, it will look a little bit better. But for now, we're kind of rolling with it. Again, this is all an experiment to see how the ProAcryl paints fare doing this sort of thing. Oh, shit. Stuff and things. Wu-Tang Clan! That's a year, baby. That is a year. Absolute superstar. Thank you so much, man. You have given so much support over the last year as well. You have been absolutely one of the best members here. Everyone, let's give some hype for this guy. 1 year. It's a big anniversary. And I promise, only because Mikey's done it now, so I have to, I'll do some badges. We'll get some badges, which will probably be varying colours of meat faces. I don't know if there's anything else that I can do, but possibly meat faces as badges. I'll say by the end of the month. So we'll go by our standard forfeit of if it's not done by the end of the month. Let's see if anyone in the stream knows what the standard forfeit is. Bold to Mohawk to bright Mohawk. There is no bold. I'm like Samson, that's where my power comes from. So this is working pretty well as far as the paint is concerned. Thinned with water, it's doing okay. It's a lot less speckly now than it was. It's still a little bit. Hot sauce, you've got it, and yeah. Different coloured M&Ms. Could do. Could do. I mean, what I'd really like is like superpower Yondu heads, but I can't draw those, and so no, basically. Get the faceplate of the knight you had done and turn it into one. Oh, yes, yes. Like a year, hazard stripes. Before that, other things. But when you get the hazard stripes, yes. That's a great one. Jaeger. Here with all of the good ideas. I'm loving it. Oh. Yes, this is good. This is good. Trying to be a little bit better at using Photoshop as well. So one of the things I did do yesterday that was stopping me getting editing done is whenever you make a video, you obviously have to make a thumbnail for it, you know. And get hawk mode, that's where you have a shave stripe down the middle of a full head of hair. Fuck no. Fuck no, although I do need to shave all of... I mean, this is long enough for me to grab hold of now, so this needs to go. That's a tomorrow J job. Yeah, I obviously, making a video, you need a thumbnail. Even for Patreon, I want to have thumbnails, and it's good practice for me to have those. Helps me make them for YouTube and so on. And anyone that's in the Patreon members Discord group will have seen this earlier on. The Dyson! 6 months, man. That's half a year. Absolute badass. Thank you very much, bro. What's my PSI? Well, currently, while the hose... This is my tank. I have a tankless compressor, so this is my tank, right? Currently, this has about 45 PSI in it. I spray at the highest possible pressure that my compressor can deal with. I've got an Iowata Silverjet. It's a really, really good compressor. It's an absolute workhorse. Once the trigger's been depressed for a while, then you're down to about 22 constant from what I found. I don't care what the manual says. Either the gauge on the side of my compressor is wrong, or they kind of under-promised, over-delivered. I think I've got that the right way around on what that can do. So yeah, it's going to come out hard. The thing is, right? Let me show you something. So this is paint that has been thinned with 3 times the amount of flow improver. So it's 1 part paint, 3 parts flow improver, 1 part water at the moment. This is like the thinnest thing you'll ever get through your airbrush. Just look at the back of my glove. You're having problems with spider webbing, which is where you're getting this happen, yeah? So see these little runoff lines. As soon as we get any real paint down, boom. That's the problem you're having, yeah? Notice how I'm not having that issue on the Mini, and I'll tell you what it is. It's actually, I feel I've proved this now. It's fuck all to do with the pressure. The more pressure you've got, the more careful you have to be, simply because the likelihood of this happening increases as the pressure goes up. So as you put more pressure, the chance of spider webbing increases exponentially. It's coming out a lot more force. Also, thank you for that follow. However, if you put these, so you jam that trigger down, so we're at full power, and you have the smallest possible amount of paint coming out your nozzle. Let's try and draw a little picture. So we're still working real close. I'm about ½ inch away off my hand. And you can see no spider webbing at all. And there's a little cat face. So none of this is like spider webbing I'm talking about. None of that is to do with how much force is coming out of the airbrush. There are probably about 1,000 YouTube videos that will tell you that unless you airbrush at, I don't know, 18 psi, this is all you'll have, and you have no control. For me, it's the other way around. If you crank the pressure to absolute maximum, it's 45 psi in the hose, right? You snipe in these unbelievably tight highlights on stuff. Does it take time to learn how to control that? Yes. Yes, it does. And so when you're beginning, it might be an idea for you to start off with a lower pressure going through the airbrush. By the way, yes, that was Stay Puff, though someone asked earlier on it. I just remembered the question. It might be worth you going with a lower PSI. However, when you have mastered your trigger control, crank that motherfucker up and really, really go for it. Because I get no spider webbing, I get no issues. Occasionally it happens. Every now and again we fuck up on a model. So let's say we fuck up now and oh no. What do? Well, it's very simple. You just kind of glaze in over the top of it by using a tiniest amount of brush pressure. To me, brush pressure is the pull back on the trigger, not the press down on the trigger. And eventually what will happen is you'll just cover that up and you won't even notice that there were spider webs there. It'll take time, it'll take many coats, but nothing that you do with an airbrush is unrecoverable. Sometimes it just takes longer to recover from, that's all. See, there you go. Okay, hopefully that helps. It was you, awesome. You do know your beer. So yeah, airbrushing, like I said, there are 1,000 people on YouTube that will tell you that everything I do is wrong, and frankly, they can come fight me because it works, and it works for me. And painting is, like a lot of things in life, all about finding out what works for you, because what works for you might not work for somebody else, and vice versa. What works for them might not work for you at all. But certainly, there are very few rules in painting. There are some. There are some. Let's say, for instance, that your goal is to get a perfectly smooth coat of paint on something. Yeah, that's not an unreasonable goal. That's something we all strive for almost every time we hobby, right? That's not a bad thing to shoot for. I'd say at that point, because you have a condition for victory, like this is what I want to do, this is what I will consider a win, is having this perfectly smooth coat of paint. At that point, there are some rules. And the first one is pretty much guaranteed to be cool, then thin your paints. Because if you don't, you're going to get brush strokes and so on. You know, it's not what you're after. But that's kind of it. There aren't many other rules for painting that are restrictive rules. I can think of plenty of rules that I can give somebody to help improve their painting. And the first one is, don't be afraid. Keep trying things till shit works. You know, that's a solid rule for painting. But it's not a restrictive rule. The restrictive rules there are very few of, like I said. And they're usually highly situational as well. But you will find, because people have got to make videos that people want to click on, and usually it's bollocks, you will find a load of videos where people say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And sure, that's up to them. That's between them and their karma, basically. Because what they're doing is they are giving you nothing but misinformation. And as someone that is a content creator, I feel that you have a responsibility to steer people in the right direction. Also, here's a weird one, alright? Notice how on the Mini, super smooth, no spider webbing. On this surface, nothing but spider webs, alright? That's because you have a different surface, so the finish starts to get to you, you know? And also the fact that this is perfectly flat and very smooth, that will happen a lot more on something like this. So if you're doing a tank and it's a super flat surface, then you've got to be a bit more careful. So bear that in mind as well. Right, last bit of the airbrush work on our absolutely definitely not really going to be called non-metallic metal, but that's what we're going with. If we're all over here now, I'm going to close Discord because I'm not able to keep up with that whatsoever, but I'm loving all of the memes. Absolutely fucking great, guys. Well done. Glad we got through it. If you say don't be afraid months ago, it's simple but helps so much. Whereas I was putting off painting my miniatures just because I thought I might mess them up. Yeah. What's the worst, right? Ooh, hello. Gale Force winds. Take out mask. Nothing we do as miniature painters actually matters. Well, alright. Let me quantify that a bit. There you have it! Bro, you just bought an airbrush. You can't afford to be doing this. You need to buy cleaning equipment. You need to get all of that shit. But thank you so much, bro. Absolute legend, as always. Dirty Habit. That's his dirty habit, is bombing the stream with cheers. Well, we've ended up... I think that's actually paint scuffs from this, unfortunately. And as you can see, we did that. Our mask hasn't done a great job here. So he's got a little bit of an issue with his like melanins or something. He's getting a bit of a cow tan going on. But we'll correct all that. There's a reason we're doing all of this before we did the highlights on our skin. Let's be honest now. So, what I'm going to do after this, like straight after this, is hit this guy with a matte varnish. So we'll grab that testers, give him a solid going over with that. And because we've used such thin paint on all of this, I really want to just allow that to have a bit of a chill. Man in the bear suit, continuing his gift sub. For some reason, there's no alert for that. There's not even an option of an alert for that, which is really, really annoying, because I feel you should get the definition. Not sure why you should get definition. Wow, what word was he even going for? Recognition. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much to the people who apparently keep my brain for me, because they know what the fuck I mean. Cheers, guys. It's been a long day. But yes, you should definitely get the recognition, man in the bear suit. Melanie just didn't have any idea why Prime subscriptions won't be showing up in stream announcements. It's not today, she's been happening for months. No idea. Ours does, and it shows up as a normal sub. Unless you've done it, but it's not happened. One that I know is if you resub on Prime Sometimes you can do it before your subscriptions run out, and I think that one is an issue. Right, we're going to use Testus Dull Coat. As always, guys, use this outdoors, or at least in a very well ventilated area. This stuff's great, though. Fucking brilliant varnish. Right, we need to do something while that dries quickly, but there you go. Got a solid coat of that all over. This guy definitely looks like a laughing cow now. Stanky. Mada! Thank you very much for that sub, bro. 2 months! Actually feels like longer. Does actually feel like longer. Cthul, honestly, dude, you genuinely don't worry about that. If what we do was easy, yeah, if painting minis was super, super simple, I wouldn't have a job as a commission painter. It's target number 4. What are you doing? The infamous nerd being given a sub by the very generous target number 4. Thank you very, very much, dude. Let me give you your meeps now. Mostly to ensure that that part of it is still working. Looks like. There you go, bro. There is some meeps for you. One step closer to 3... no, not 3,000 subs. That would be mad, but no. What was I about to say? Talking about varnish, spray, smell. Yeah, I don't know. Completely lost it. Oh, that was it. Getting things wrong. Don't worry about getting things wrong. There we go. There's a prime sub. Instantly in. 7-month streak. 8 months into my pandemic viewing. Christ. There you go. Yeah, it's not easy. It's easy in the way that it's uncomplicated at times. But there's a difference between simple and simple to do. Too many sprues. What? Oh, no. No, none of this now. Behave, all of you. Bloody Raynast. There you go, there's some meeps for you. Base coat wash easy. Yeah, something like that. I must have completely missed that other word. So yeah. It's not easy in terms of getting something that is super crisp with the most beautiful blends and this amazing sense of contrast and light and shadow and dynamism, and getting all of that encapsulated in a fucking toy soldier is actually super hard. Hey, Cole! Haunted Spartan, Hudson Hawk. It's a fucking great film. Yes, it is. And I've got Would You Like to Swing on a Star stuck in my head, and I'm not even mad. You could be better off than you are. God, I'm going to have to find that movie online somewhere. But yeah, it is difficult. However, if you follow the guides that I give here, whether it's the stream stuff, the Patreon stuff, there you have it! Throw the shamrock in the jar. Well, seeing as it's an Irish thing, cheers to you, brother. Yeah, follow the guides, and you'll get minis that are easy enough to achieve the standard that we're putting out. That also look good. Because the way that I tend to paint things is that everything must have a good shadow and a good contrast. Take this Dreadnought, for example. All those armor plates, they could be just flat, but they're not. This guy, bright yellow, black to blue. gigantically bright pink brain. All of these things is the way that we paint, you know. Hudson Hawk is definitely a great film, Mr. Enigma. How dare you? Also, Bog Trouble in Little China is something I never ever want to see. In case you're not aware, bog is slang for toilet in the UK. Jen Nelson! One of the oldest viewers to the channel. I don't mean, like, age. I mean, seniority. Absolute superstar. Thank you very much. Pretty sure Hudson Hawk's on Netflix. Oh, yes. Yes. God, I hope so. It might be on Netflix in your country. It might not be in this one. But yeah, Bog Trouble in Little China. That's a no. The Ho train has left the station. I mean, you can put me on that train. Anyone remember The Godfather back when it was a WWF? Right, here we go. So our bull has some armor that we're going to try and turn it into a sort of non-metallic metal-ish finish. We're not going to need the airbrush anymore. We're not going to need the glove anymore. We only need the wet palette. And it's time to try out, for the very first time, the Kolinsky Sable version of the Bonwick line. So don't know how this is gonna pan out. Literally never used this brush before. The difference between this and my usual Winsor & Newton. So this is my new Winsor & Newton. If we line up the ferrules, you see there's a lot of brush different. Let's line up the bristles, and there's still quite a lot of brush different. There's probably an extra 2 to 3 mil on this. Obviously the belly of the brush, the bit that holds the paint, is a lot wider now. It's about twice the width of this. This looks a little closer to the Winsor & Newton miniature series, which I don't use. I prefer the fatter brushes, less trips back to the palette, less chance of paint drying out on your bristles. Overall, a little bit more of a hard-wearing brush, so I don't know how this is going to fare up. Yep, both sides once. But remember, a size for brushes is not an industry standard size. It's just, here's what size our size 1 is. Let's prep our palette. We're going to go back with the black to begin with, and then we'll do a quick workup across the top of our palette with the black, the greys, and the white, where we check out this NMM style. Hey Jay, Epic Ants, how you doing? What's the craziest colour scheme you've done on the Mini? It was about a year ago. It was one of our giveaway minis. Somebody won the Mini, and it was a Tyrannid Hive Tyrant. It was the Swarm Lord, but we did him on the flying tail. So it was way up in the air, like big arms out and everything. It looked great. And I said, oh, what colour do you want it? And they said, I don't know. How about green or orange or pink? I said, all right, green, orange and pink it is then. And they were very taken aback by that answer. And I think it turned out fucking brilliantly. Really, really well. Is it on my Instagram? It is. It's occasionally down here as well. What we should do is do a montage of the giveaway minis that we've done. That'll be fun. I'll have to track down the photos for it. You think you remember that one? Is it because you can probably see it from where you're sat right now? Is he giving Calgar the eye? Like, fuck it, stay away from me. It was the one that went to Datsun Des. And if he hadn't been so indecisive, it would have been a usual Tyranid colour scheme. Right, there he is! Green, pink, and orange. I think he's great. I think he's absolutely banging. But right, so we've got our palette sorted out. Let's get a little bit of water and some black. And we're going to start with our darkest areas and work up. What time are we at? We're at 10:15. So if you don't have the South Park montage song while doing it, I will unsub. Even Rocky had a montage. Montage. I mean, maybe. There's only been a year's worth. Cool. Hey, no worries, man. Got lots of patience tomorrow. Damn. Well, look, you take care. Look after yourself. Obviously not a great time for anyone that is seeing patients. So, stay safe, yeah? Speaking of staying safe, if anyone here happens to be in an area of potentially civil unrest in the US, please look after yourself. Because the news yesterday was fucking madness. Absolute madness. Crazy Anked! Also a Prime sub. We could have a baby now. Listen, just because we've been together for 9 months does not mean I'm pumping a baby in you, alright? And it's definitely that way around. But thank you very much for that sub, bro. 9 months in a streak as well. Silly Putty, thanks for the follow. 9 months is good, dude. 9 months is good. By the end of this month, we'll have badges for progress. And there will be a year badge. Plenty of you qualify for that. There will be a year award badge. So, first thoughts on this brush is it's okay. The point isn't wowing me. It holds a decent amount of paint, but not what I'm used to. Yeah. It's because it's slightly shorter as well. I'm kind of finding that I'm aiming for the mini and I'm just going a little bit too close because it's obviously not there yet, and then just jabbing the mini a little bit too hard, which is not ideal. Obviously that's going to help damage the brush, which we want to avoid. Going to break it during our first road test, you know. But it's capable of some good skinny lines. Starting to find that point where it's just in contact with the miniature. One thing I really don't like about it though is how light it feels. I really don't like that. Polly, I'm not going to read that out, but that's hilarious. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Especially that guy that looked like he's out of Mad Max. And I mean the old Mad Max films, not Fury Road. I mean Beyond Thunderdome. What the fuck with that guy? Yeah. How am I finding the paints? I love the paint, actually. The paint is really, really good. I'm not sold on the bottles. I'm just not. They're not my favorite thing whatsoever. But the paint is pretty epic. To the point where after the stream on Tuesday, we raided Slow Fuse because I was obviously going to talk to him about the paint, so I wanted to ask a couple of quick questions. And he answered them quite gracefully and gave me some really in-depth answers, which I liked. He has convinced me to keep going with these pots for a bit because he didn't like them at first either, the bottle tops. But they grew on him, and he feels that they're the best of what would be an otherwise just bad situation as far as keeping a good seal on something, but also having less mess as possible. So we'll keep going with them. However, I was so impressed with the paints, I very nearly bought the rest of their range. And the only thing that stopped me is that I wanted to really push myself with these paints. To the point where I was going to learn a lot about the paint itself, the way it reacts under using it for different conditions. And I knew if I bought like the transparent line, the metallic line, and so on, I wouldn't get that knowledge because I'd still be using other paints as a bit of a crutch. And so we decided against it. And that's why we're doing this kind of quasi non-metallic metal. It's never going to look like NMM. It's not going to look like metal. At best, we're going to get a kind of a grey-ish thing going on. It's going to be very high contrast. It's going to look like just maybe some glossy grey armour. That's all. Rather than silver. But hey. These are the kind of twisty top ones. The ones that you twist and they're captive, so this bit doesn't come off. I'd like the flip top lids, really, rather than the twisty dropper bottle ones, because dropper bottles, despite being way better than GW's version, do have their setbacks, which is mostly that you get paint gummed up in that lid, and then you don't get a proper seal, and then your tops break off, and all that sort of shit. Whereas flip tops, I feel are easier to keep clean, and so I want to go with those. No, cracking the tops hasn't really helped. The issue that I was having wasn't so much that I was opening this and it was just spooging out some pressure. It was that when you close it, you get paint come out the top. Warboss Lima, thanks for the follow. And I was kind of unsure about how long that would happen before I end up having to clean all this out, whether it glues the pot shut and things like that. Rain 1982, thank you for the follow as well. So yeah, the paints are great. The product they come in is not my favorite thing ever, but Jason's convinced me to work with it for a bit, and he knows his shit, so we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and do that, while we completely test the shit out of these paints, trying to do everything we can with them while painting the giveaway minis. I've never tried Chimera. If I'm honest, Chimera are paints that are going to be great for someone that does one-off minis. So if you're one of those people that does busts and you paint one bust and you're done, and then you move on to a new thing, or you paint just one-off characters or something along those sorts of lines, then they'll be great for you, probably, if you're the kind of person that likes to mix paints. If, however, you're someone like myself that is a commission painter and frequently has the job of painting entire armies worth of stuff, then it's probably not going to be so good for you. For me, I would spend more time mixing paints and more wastage than I would get anything else out of those. So I'm not their target audience. So that isn't a failing of them. That's just that I'm not the person that should be using those paints. Transparents are meant to be interesting. Yeah. I've never used any of the golden paints either, Xtab. The benefits of twist tops, what do I think about his arguments? He said they're basically the best of a bad situation, and so we'll give it a go. Yeah, I'll take his word for it for a bit, until I have formed more of an opinion myself. But for now, I'm not loving it. Partially it's just the wastage factor, but I feel there's a lot less wastage there than certainly there is in any like GW pots and the P3 pots and things. I know I end up putting those into dropper bottles, and so I'm kind of taking that out of the equation, because that inherently creates wastage doing that process. I don't think it creates as much as people think. So certainly that dude that wrote that did a YouTube video about why no one should ever do that again is talking some serious shit. Yeah, that's just dumb. Titan 4, yeah, I mean that's part of it, right? The volume of paint that I use and the amount of painting I do, will it be a problem for me where it wouldn't be a problem for somebody else? Or will it not be a problem for me because it's always been opened, whereas it would be a problem for somebody else? I don't know. Science Pie, hey man, I'm glad I can help. You should definitely check out P3 and Secret Weapon Miniatures though. Secret Weapon Miniatures Golds are fucking spectacular. In fact, the Patreon video that is going up tomorrow on how to paint gold, in that video we sort of preface it with, in a lot of videos I tell people you can use close approximations of the colours that I use to get a similar effect. This is not that video. In this video you need these paints, and if you don't have these paints, you should go and get them now, because they're super good. And scale 75 gold, look, let's get the Void Dragon himself up. Look at that gold. Look at how bright and shiny and beautiful, yet still lustrous and rich that gold is. To give you an idea of the power of scale 75 golds, those wings have had 2 coats of this on it. 2 coats. And that is still super shiny, super beautiful, and frames this really, really well. Tilts, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow and find out. Do your Patreon vids ever make it to YouTube? They don't, because I feel that they should stay for Patrons. However, I alternate every week. So this week, it's a Patreon video. Last week and next week, it will be a YouTube video. Scale 75 regular line is a fucker to work with, but it gives an unrivaled finish. Apart from potentially this stuff, actually. That's one thing I wasn't expecting about the ProAcryl stuff, is that they have a crazy good matte finish. I knew they're designed to be matte, but they apply really, really easily, and I mean really easily. It's mad how easy. All the grey was done with a brush, and if you are a follower on Instagram, you'll see the picture we put up pre-stream, which is where we got to last stream, essentially, that shows how matte this grey is. All of this grey was 1 coat thinned with water. There was no fucking about. It was just bam, it's on, and it covered the shoulder pads, especially these larger areas, extremely well. I have not been that impressed with grey paint ever in my life, I don't think. So that's definitely something right there. Okay, I think we've done all of our sort of edge recess shades. Oh, there's one right there at the top I'm literally staring at. So what we're going to do now is we will do a little bit of like volumetric shading. So this is, instead of applying a shade to a recess, applying a shade across an area to darken that area. And what I'm doing is I'm glazing by adding water, this black, into those areas. So we're just chucking a load of water in with this black. We're nearly at the point where we're breaking the pigment, I think. So we'll stop there. Actually, I probably could have gone a fair bit away. That's 1 coat. That is 1 coat. They're white paint. I put it through the airbrush doing these blades, actually. Actually behaves really well. It's not white ink. It isn't. Don't get it twisted. It ain't gonna work like that. Completely different makeup, right? But you know, for an acrylic paint, it's solid. It is solid. Zoom in a bit. So I'm kind of expecting this to work well. It's better than the camera's working with its focus right now, at least. No, the big cow person, for fuck's sake. There you go. Simply because all of this was a wash that we made out of one of the browns. So I'm expecting this to do okay. Want some dice from Captain Mad Love. Just right there, roll 6 out of 7 dice. Nice, mate. Nice. Let's see if I can do that every time. And then I call hacks. Right, so applying this to still darken down everything we've got going on. And you see we're basically applying it in little blotches. Currently sticking mainly to the undersides of stuff because that's where the shadow would be. And, you know, that's somewhat obvious. But obviously we'll get areas like this that will just be a little bit of a shadow just due to the shape of what's going on, despite not being on the underside. So let's see how this works. This might go completely to shit. We'll find out together. It's so matte the camera can't see it. Maybe the camera's looking for shine. It's like there's no shine. There's no shine, Jay. I kinda see it, kitten. I forget which Star Wars character said that. Tilt's like falling off his chair with rage. There you go. So just bring this in around the bottom of that to darken that area down a little bit. So again, it's very, very rough, NMM. This isn't my bag. It's not something I do very often, but there's no metallic paints in this set, and so this is what we've got. It's going to look very cartoonish. I think it was Qui-Gon Jinn. Could have been. I thought Qui-Gon Jinn was the drink they served on Star Trek in Whoopi Goldberg's casino bar. So many nerds just Sorry, mate. I love Battlestar Galactica. The Jedi people are awesome. Bobby Feet is a cracking character. Gonna have one of your headaches after this. You might do, mate. You might do. And during. Right, just putting a really thin set of lines on this to try and get a sort of crease in our metal. It's going to help just give us a little bit of extra shape. And this time I do mean definition. I think I worked out why my brain got so confused earlier on. I was going to say recognition, and in my head I changed it to resolution. I don't know why. And then resolution just became definition. Didn't Bobby Feet star in Happy Feet? Oh shit, you might have done. Yeah, that's right. Dr. Rhino, how you doing? 40k to drink fake coffee because horrible space empire. Star Trek to drink fake alcohol because they're all lame narcs. Wow. Exploding Fruit rates the Forge World Contemptor. I've painted 2 Forge World ones. I painted the Ultramarine one, I painted the Space Wolf one. And they're a little bit... They're a little bit of a shit to get together. At least the 2 I had. But that's solely because the molds, despite being relatively new, are obviously used a lot. And I found that the Ultramarine one... Oh wait, no, we didn't actually do the Ultramarine one. I did one in Ultramarine colours, but it was just a regular Forge World Contemptor. That was it. That one I found to be a little bit... having to fix a lot of things. Which is my least favourite thing to do. I don't like the assembly part of the miniature painting hobby. Somebody else can do my assembly for me if they want. I got no issues. Yeah, just super not into it. Takes time away from painting and playing games, basically. So, yeah, that can go to another person. But the Contemptor themselves are great. The GW one is extremely static. Yeah, it really is. There's no real playing around with it. I've got 3 of them myself for my Alpha Legion Primaris list. That's right. We had Contemptor Dreads back a couple of years ago, way before it was cool. Mostly because they were cheap as fuck on eBay. You love the building part, Jaeger. If you can promise me that you will get 100% eradication on mold lines, then I've got an entire set of Necron stuff here that really needs it. But I'll need them done by mid-February. At the latest. In fact, I'll need them done by early February. You want to earn some pocket money? Let me know. Have you digested any FAQ? I have. Yeah, there's some good, some bad, and some not ideal. As a Knight player, there's a couple of things there that I think are a little unfair. The first one being that the secondary for, well, you know, people are taking Grey Knight or aren't taking Grey Knights because anti-psych is secondary, so we'll give them a break. Didn't extend to people aren't winning with Knights because anti-Knight secondary. I think they could have done something with that. But overall, I am a very big fan of the current FAQ. Couple of very small nerfs to Marines. I think if GW reckon that Eradicators only needed 5 points added to them to make them balanced, then I've got a timeshare somewhere that I'd love to sell their guys. It's probably somewhere like Atlantis as well, so, you know, make it really obvious that it's a good place to be. Yeah, I don't think that was enough. Plasma Inceptors, I think, needed about 5 points to 10 points, tops, absolute tops. At 10 points, there's 60 points a model, and that's a little crazy. But the 5 point nerf that went over to Inceptors, in general, I didn't think was warranted. I think they should have just changed the plasma gun cost. Not being able to res ATVs, I genuinely don't count as a nerf, because as far as I was concerned, that wasn't a fucking rule in the first place, regardless of the fact it was a rule. That was just the dumbest fucking thing. But I'm also quite glad they didn't go down the vehicle side of that. We talked about it briefly at the start of the stream. What they could have done is made ATVs vehicles, which would mean that you have something that just drives into combat, hits you 5 times, and probably beats the shit out of you a significant amount if you're not a large monster or similar. And then just guns you down with Gatling cannons. So I'm actually quite glad they didn't go, alright, fine, it's a vehicle with that. That would have been really, really horrible. God, that's so fragile. Note to self, don't balance on the tail. Is bad, McKay. Just gonna give all this a kind of glaze with this black, darken some of that overspray down. We'll just get some highlights around it and sort it out. Better than nothing, yeah, for sure. Also tighter than before, sure. You're 12, I can do that anyway. Well, good for you, bro. One of my semi-regular opponents is Dark Angel's player. I'm pretty sure he's got a strat for that, or will have probably when his codex comes back out. And he's definitely rezzed some ATVs. Another opponent that I play, or that I could play semi-regularly, plays Blood Angels, and so Sang Priests. I'd have really liked to have seen that fucking Apothecary Ancient, whatever they call it, Chapter Apothecary. I'd have loved to have seen that go up to be more than 15 points, because 15 points is incredibly efficient for what it gives you. And I think that's too cheap. Because even if you just res two dudes, two intercessors, you're up in points. You're already efficient. Whereas if you compare that to something like the Necron construct, which I appreciate as a different rule set, you know, it does different things. I'm just going to grab some black paint and paint the little tuft of hair on the back of his head here. For that to make its points back from a resurrection perspective, you have to roll 9 dice that are all exactly the number 4. So not 4 or higher, but all exactly the number 4 when rezzing to get your points back from it. Its guns are relatively lackluster, and it's a very easy target to take down. It does only provide 1 point for killing vehicles, but Necrons aren't running a lot of super heavy vehicle lists anyway right now, so I don't think that's really a point to consider very much. What I would like to say, though, is these paints glaze really, really well. Got a little bit of a tide mark in here, which we're going to try and deal with a little bit. Sort of moving that round as a bit more of a shadow, and then darkening down some of this underneath. But the areas that we've just put a straight glaze into have done really, really well. There's no real marks down here. So yeah, that's worked really, really well, and that's just thinned with water, like a fuckload of water as well. Probably 5 or 6 to 1 water to paint. X-Tab, yes. A lot of people taking Melter attack bikes and not Eradicators. And really, you won't see anyone spam Eradicators. You'll never see anyone take 3 units and win an event, because you don't need to, because 1 unit is enough to absolutely deal with whatever it is that you need it to do. So, yeah. You won't ever get spam because they're already too good to spam. Right, let's do... Oh, God, I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's just grab some white and fuck around with it for a bit. Let's see how that's going to work out. So, we're going with this a little bit thick. So, I've thinned it a little, not a lot. And let's just get some really, really bright highlights. And then once we've done that, we'll work out what our midtones are going to look like. We'll do it that way. So let's see what white is like. And initial impressions was that's some really, really thin-ass white paint to get coverage like that with one pass. Let's keep going. Let's not get too excited too quickly. And no, I've never had that problem before any of you ask, and I know someone was typing it, so no. Yes, I think apothecaries can still heal ATVs, they just can't res an ATV. And I'm okay with that. It's a weird grey area as far as like the common sense of the game goes. But they only heal 3 wounds, and there's 2 dudes on it that have a combined total of more than 3 wounds if you just take a premise stat line and kind of work it down. So yeah, it's that's a lot of it could be worse. Not loving this brush. That's blowing out a lot at the top. You know, that's not a good point. Yeah, they had to get their way through Space Marine University, and so they took a part-time job. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. I feel that at this point, Too Many Sprues, you could probably do more healing to bikes than the average apothecary, though. So, you know, you are clearly Chief Apothecary of the stream, as well as Master of Forge. Yeah, I don't love this brush. I really don't love this brush. SamVin42, thanks for the follow. So we're getting a little bit of paint drying on the guide hair. There's already a loose hair. This one's like hanging out, chilling at the side. Let's look at the Haynes manual. Wow, now we've got a fucking banana brush. I'm pretty sure there was a 40k Haynes manual for a Rhino. Does anyone else remember that, or am I imagining that? I'm pretty sure I saw one though. I know I've seen some for various sci-fi things. I'm pretty sure there was one for the Millennium Falcon or something. So the white is doing well. It is. It's a solid white. I'm liking it a lot more than I'm liking the brush. I know we're painting resin, which is usually not smooth. Yet these brushes were designed and developed while Jason was working with Creature Caster. Where it was obviously painting a fuckload of their resin, so you can't use that as an excuse. It's not super smooth like plastic, so that's, you know, you can't take that as the reason why the brush is being pulled apart. And this isn't the worst resin that I've painted by an unbelievably long way. So I'm not liking how I can see the brush, every brush stroke, it's separating. Can you see that? Let's put in something dark. There you go. You should just be able to see that. That brush hair is just chilling out, coming straight off the brush. Not liking that. Let's try this again. No, it's already split. I haven't even touched the minute it's split. Okay. Excuse me. We'll give this a bit of work with just some thicker paint. Let's just try that. So this is non-thinned white paint we're using now. Maybe it's just the water content it's having an issue with. Are we going to have any issues with our brush strokes? It's still splitting as soon as it hits the mini, which is not great. So post stream, we'll man up and just get through it for now. Post stream, what I will do is give this an absolute going over with the Gentastic brush goop, which I do like. Evolution, thank you very much. And Jaeger, yeah, exactly what I'm saying now. We'll give it a good going over with the brush goop. Thank God that's going to be painted blue. And see if that can fix it. If it can't, well, basically, I'll have a word with the creator and say, look, I'm sorry, but are you having issues with your brushes? This one turned out to be actually shit. I mean, it's getting through it. It's not a joy to use. Yeah, so I hate how thick that line was just then because we're using unthinned paint. So we went back to a little bit of thin paint and it's immediately blown out the end of the brush. Okay, let's just stop whinging about it and just keep going. Push on and all that jazz. As far as our NMM goes, I mean, it's not. It really isn't. But, you know, we're getting some high contrast stuff, and it's going to look very cartoony by the end of it, and that's okay. For very quick, non-metallic metal, we'll call it barely passable. Barely passable. The weirdest thing about this brush is I'm managing to get some of the detail down, but it's just, I feel like I'm fighting it every single step of the way. Synthetic goods say, well, not. Yeah, actually, and it's not even their synthetic sable, it's just their regular, straight up, cheap ass synthetic brush. Yeah, I like that one a hell of a lot more than I like this one, and I like that a lot. I've used it for washes, for recess shading, just in general, on commission minis, and been really happy with the results that I've gotten out of it. So that brush I'm a big fan of. This brush currently is the devil, and I'm reasonably certain this can't be an average example of the brand. So unsure about whether this is typical or not. I severely doubt it though. Like I said, we'll give it an absolute smashing over with some of that Drunktastic brush goop and see if we can change any part of that and go from there. Blurry Gecko, Scalpel, yeah, just taking the odd hair out can work, but that's always got to be the last case scenario, right? Because that can do a lot of harm if you fuck it up. But it might just be that one hair is so bent out of shape, it's then pulling the other hairs away as well. And that's what's going to cause, let's just call it brush death. So let's just try and get on with it and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, it was given a clean. When you buy a brush, they're basically they have a soap essentially that they use to twist the ends into place. Imagine like moustache wax, that sort of thing. But it's for brush. It's sort of soap. And so you've got to give it a really good clean. So I gave it a quick go with some brush soap, but hadn't done a single brush stroke with it at all. Wanted to save that for the stream and like finding out how it was going to go and everything else. and not well is my current review on it. But hey, the Artificer brush from GW. Okay, let me tell you about the Artificer brush. The Artificer brush is currently something like £17.50, right? The Artificer Artificer brush, so I just read what Janelle said and got slightly sidetracked, but okay. This one was from Element, so hopefully not an issue. Deck Flow! How you doing, bro? Thank you for the raid. Welcome to the stream, man. How is your stream? Let's get some love and some follows going on over to that guy. It's been a tricky night tonight with Twitch. I hope you didn't have so many problems, but we've had some ups and downs, and I mean that. Hopefully your stream went very well. We're doing the world's shittest non-metallic metal, so forgive me. We're basically trying out the ProAcryl paints and brushes. We're doing a full review over the course of this miniature and one other, and we're using only the paints that came in their box set, which is the base set 1, and there's no metallic paint in there. So we've decided, because of the theme that we want to do for this guy, that we do some pretty shoddy non-metallic metal for the armor. Linwex, thank you for the follow and welcome. Karma, Blood Bowl miniature today, absolutely, bro. Had a lot of problems. Oh, sorry, man. We managed to get through it by having Discord and the main chat in Discord, basically, and this as well. And some people managed to join in on that, so we kind of got through. Master's Brush Surface Preserver is the one I was just example on mine with Facebook. So I use that, and I think that's a brilliant brush cleaner. But you reckon... So Jason says that damages his brush. Okay, glad we haven't used that yet, but I can't see how it would. And not wishing to cast aspersions, but I can see how that is the direct competitor to their own brush soap. Personally, I've found it to do nothing but clean extremely well, and so I'd like to know more about that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That might have just been a shitty brush to begin with, which is... I don't know. I'll have a look into it. Again, I'm not going to bash the guy. Certainly, I don't think Jason would do something to specifically harm the hobby. That'd be great if you could, I'd love that. What we're talking about, guys, is the trying to use all Monument Hobbies kit for this. So we've got one of their Igniter brushes, and we're just about to have a rant about brushes in the middle of my rant about brushes, because here is my beautiful Winsor & Newton Series 7 I use all the fucking time. I've got literally just within arm's reach dozens of these brushes in various states of completely fucked up to I only stopped using this one last week. And as a comparison, the Bonwick is falling very, very short of the mark. Now, the difference in price between this and this is about £4. This is about £12. This is about £8 from Element. So probably about £9 if you weren't getting the discount. This is his Sable, the Kolinsky. I've got his synthetic here, which I actually really rate. Genuinely like this brush. Good for base coats, good for washes as well. But the rant we were going to have about the Citadel Artificer brush is the Artificer brush is made by Winsor & Newton. And you know when you go into a supermarket and maybe you're buying a can of beans, right? And on the shelf, there is Heinz baked beans. There's a fucking wall of Heinz baked beans. And Heinz baked beans are £1 a can. Just pulling a number out. And just next to the Heinz baked beans is the supermarket's own brand of those beans. And they're 35p. The Artificer brush that Winsor & Newton make for Games Workshop is their own brand version. That's the Sainsbury's Basics baked beans. These are the Heinz. So why the fuck is this £5 cheaper than the brush that Games Workshop get them to make? It's about half as good. Let that one sink in for a sec. Don't buy the Artificer brush at all. Dafty tax. That's a good one. Not buying a brush, you're buying a lifestyle. At that point, you're just literally handing over money for the sake of it. Everyone should shop smart when it comes to the hobby. There's so many products that are marketed to miniature hobbyists. And I don't mean hobbyists that are small. I mean, you know what I mean. And they cost a fuckload more because they're the hobby product. And you must have... Well done, target number 4. Oh, yes! Absolute superstar. Well, my little thing just knocked over a shot glass. Gotta love that guy. Bruce Campbell. What a boy. Yeah, you end up forking out for a lot of hobby stuff. Like, if you went and bought green stuff from somewhere like Green Stuff World. How old are 10s each? Zench, whatever. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, if you went and bought that from Green Stuff World, you'd pay about £8 for a yard of green stuff. If you bought the stuff without the gap, which you should buy because it stops the chemical reaction from going off and it lasts longer. If you spent £8 on some green stuff from Games Workshop, you'd get about 5 inches. 6 if you were lucky. And it's not ideal. Green stuff is a product called Neadatite. Kneadatite, I think. So, yeah. Be a little bit smarter with your hobby purchases, and you can buy more plastic crack. That's what it all boils down to. Is now I have another army this year. Yes, it's powerful. So, yeah, just buyer beware and all that sort of shit. Use discount stores if you can. I buy a lot of stuff from my local to support my local, and that's really important, especially now, guys. Especially now. But what they don't stock, which is quite a lot because they predominantly only stock GW kit, I get from Element. Exclamation point Element. Yeah, go and check them out. Looking for advice. I haven't painted probably in months. Right-handed, but hold the miniature in my left hand. Same. Had an arm injury at work, tore, ruptured, a flex. Ugh. I'm the wrong person to ask that because I don't know what to do. For me, this is dumb and don't fucking do it, but if something hurts, I just go through it. I have to do that because of my headache. That's how I survive with that. I'm suggesting that you see a professional. However, there's probably some form of yoga-like stretching that you can do as kind of a physiotherapy-ish thing. And I strongly suggest you see someone that actually knows what they're fucking talking about with that, because I do not, and you shouldn't take my advice on just stretching shit. But maybe there's something like that you can do. My girlfriend's going to show me some back stretches that I can do, because I find that if I'm painting using a brush quite a lot, I sit somewhat hunched over and I'm getting back pain from it. If I'm using the airbrush, I sit quite comfortably in my chair, unless it's for sort of 10 hours or so, and then it becomes a bit of a different issue. Olms92, cheers for the follow. I was looking at buying some chairs that are designed to be a bit more supportive, yet I can't seem to find one that seems to be universally good. And so I think I probably need to wait for COVID to go over and then go and buy a chair in a store where I can test the chair. So yeah, right now we basically just fight through the back pain that we get, and remember posture every, feels like 2 minutes right now. This is fucking terrible. Big Brom! Hey, dude. Beans, yeah. Water bottles. They're white paint. Dries on a wet palette kind of quick once you've added water to it. And it dries really well on the brush too. Just trying to paint some fucking scratch marks. Come on. I think what we'll end up doing is painting the white and then going back in with the black, because the black was behaving really, really well in comparison to this. But we're getting some pretty shoddy lines out of this. Oh shit, dude. Got your retarder. There's one sat right here. I've got Flow Improver, which is what I would essentially use in this situation. But again, we're doing a row test of their paints, and so using additional things like that, I'm trying to limit. One big exception for that is going through the airbrush, because there's no way I'm just going to put paint through the airbrush. I don't care what brand it is. That's not how I paint. It's not how I like to paint. And the airbrush is a precious tool. Janelle sent, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. It'd be worth reading it. And I'm kind of glad that wasn't Jason, if I'm honest. Right, so basically we've remixed some white paint, and it's still a little less than ideal, but it is better. It's definitely drying on the brush really, really quickly though. Now, sure, I know I'm under some studio lights, which aren't particularly hot. There's a bit of heat from them. They're LED lights, but there's enough power output from them that they're still quite banging. Is there any white paints to play nicely without thinning? Not without thinning. None of them will ever. I mean, technically speaking, the best white would be artist grade titanium white, which is what this is meant to be. Whether it contains titanium or not, I don't know. I doubt it on the price point. It might do, but I would be very surprised. That is one reason why you shouldn't lick your brush. For me, it's literally fighting the habit of a lifetime, and so it's just going to happen regardless. If we end up becoming Titanium Man, then fine. I'll take the loss to Iron Man. That's okay, because Titanium Man was cool. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Well, I'll definitely give it a read, you know. I really appreciate you taking the time to look for that article as well. Or the post, rather. All of this sort of stuff, like the paints and these particular brushes, are new to me, and the more information that I can get about them, the better. So, much appreciated. I still fucking hate this brush, though. I can see separation within the brush hairs. And it's driving me a little bit mad. I can also see that some of the brush hairs are ever slightly longer than they need to be. It's probably what's causing it. I can tell that because as soon as I move the brush to the model, the point flexes. And that normally only happens when one or two of the bristles aren't pointed in at that nice tapered angle. And they're sort of like this past it. So this one is hitting the miniature and being pushed back, and that's causing a little bit of a split on the brush. Oh dear, tilts, no. Bought some Schmink ProAcryl, not tried it yet. It comes like an oil painted tube. It's actually, oh yeah, I've seen a few of those. Yeah, not necessarily that brand, but I have seen a few. There's nothing wrong with cheap artist brushes. There really, really isn't. I use them for doing things like weathering and stuff like that. Anything you're going to fuck up a brush with, use those instead. If you're just doing base coats, use those instead. Sam Lenz is very famous for using the cheapest, nastiest, shittest brushes he can get his hands on for his base coats and so on. And then the last 10% of the mini is when he breaks out the big guns, because that last 10% of the mini is about 90% of the final effect, and it's worth using the real brushes for it, right? Pretty sure I've seen him using these brushes as well, the ProAcryl ones. And Sam's one of my absolute favourite artists. As a person, he has a thought process that is definitely his own, and I really, really respect that. So, if he's using these, he's obviously had a very considered time with them to be sure that he's happy that, yeah, these are what I want to be using, because his work is competition work. We've nearly finished the armor, which is good because it is 11:15, which means soon we're going to be going into the work in progress gallery. So head over to Discord, !whip or !discord. Go on over there, put some pics in the work in progress gallery, and we'll go through it and see what you guys have been painting. Mostly while trying to get Twitch to cooperate this evening. And I use a size 1 for almost everything, Drippins. I think last year I broke out a size 0 twice. And I know I broke out a 000 once because I was trying to do some freehand, and part of it I just couldn't get the line in. But even eyeballs and pupils and stuff like that's a size 1. For me, it's the perfect brush. It has a good sized belly to it, a bit like me, which means it holds the right amount of paint, completely unlike me. This thing's fucking bent already. And so, for me, it's absolutely spot on. Tilts, both. Titan 4, absolutely. Don't use 10-0 brushes, because here's why, right? Let me finish this off and we'll talk about it in a bit more detail. But earlier on we said there are very few rules that are restrictive rules in miniature painting. But then use the example of, if you were painting something and what you really wanted was a super smooth coat of paint, then the one rule you'd have to follow would be to thin your paints so that you get the chance of having that nice smooth surface. That nice smooth surface is brought about by using less brush strokes. You're using less brush strokes because the paint is flowing nicely off your brush. If you use the tiniest brush known to man, you use a lot more brush strokes. Therefore, despite the fact that they're tiny, you are building more texture on your miniature. Which means you're less likely to get those super smooth coats of paint. So there are reasons not to use tiny ass brushes. You literally only want to use them for detail. It does make sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah. Why do you think I use a size 1 for so much? It's the perfect utility brush. It does everything. I could use a couple of size 2s. I could even use a size 3. In fact, one of my best brushes that I ever had was a size 3 Winsor & Newton. I thought it was brilliant. I just ended up buying a size 1 after the 3 died. Thinking, you know what, this brush is great for everything, so I'll just use this. Mostly out of laziness. Yeah, it's basically like my first pube getting that 10-0. But I wouldn't recommend anyone buys one of those for pretty much anything. Right, so here we have the world's absolute shittest non-metallic metal. We've got light, we've got shadow, we've got some bright points. It's not great, but considering it's not something that I do very often, I think it's kind of okay. Would I have preferred to get something like just regular metallics and do some rusting? Yeah, I fucking so would. But we're testing these paints. What have we learned about our paints today? Today we've learned that you can thin the black down to almost nothing. Oh god, Mystery Enigma. Oh god. Always synthetics. If you're pin washing, then I actually really rate. I've got a couple of these. Army Painter hobby brush, I think. Hobby highlighter brush from the Army Painter. These are really good. They've got a decent point. This one's the oldest one that I've got, and still tastes a little bit of oil paint. And it's still got a decent enough point on it. And I basically use these for just panel lining with oils. Otherwise, I use, like we were talking about earlier on, these really shitty brushes I bought off Amazon. This one has been used for putting pigments on a base, so it's fucked. Here's one that's been used for PVA glue. Here's another one I use for pigments. Yeah, as more of a duster afterwards. So after you put a load of pigment down, this one just picks up some more. And I've got some that I've used for oils and so on. So here's one that I used for oils, obviously. Dry brushing, I don't use one of those because I don't dry brush. Using super tiny brushes for oils too, that shit won't dry on a brush. Yeah, but as soon as you dip it in anything like thinner, it's gone. So yeah, the black, really good. Like the way the black thins, it airbrushes really nicely. Even thin 2 to 1. Like it used as a glaze. Big fan of the black. The white has some weird behaviors. I think it just has less of a working time than I'm used to. And so, as a result, I like this less. Currently, I'm still favoring Morrow White from P3 over that. But this works as well as Thramar Black, we'll say. Currently, as well as Thramar Black. Liking it. Liking it a lot. Certainly a lot better than the GW shit. And for the price point, really good. The brush, I don't like this brush. I'm going to clean this while we're doing the whip, actually. So we'll grab the Gentastic product, which I do like as a conditioner. I don't think it's a great cleaner, but I do like it as a conditioner. The way to do this is to put water on the soap, and apparently this is revolutionary and no one knew about that, but that's just how you use soap. Before having a beard, I did have a straight razor. I used to shave with that every day, so yeah. Know about getting that lather. So what we're going to do now is going to go into the work in progress gallery. So !whip or !discord. Come and join us in over on Discord. Post up some pictures of what you have been working on. Let's see what we've got. So this was from today. This is Crownblade. This is new. So Crownblade working on an ogre. You did tell me what this was. It was Ogre Tuskor, perhaps, I want to say. Time number 4. Grim. That's one thing I hate about tournaments. There's not many, but there's always one that's like, yeah, I didn't shower today. I thought I'd be fine. Dripping sweat. No. Not good. Not good. There is one person that universally, I feel, has this reputation. There's somebody in the chat that's usually here that might even know who it is. This guy actually smells of stale piss and cider constantly, and it's not good whatsoever. I like this dude. I think you finished it. There's some areas that I would improve on, I feel. The red looks very flat. I think that could definitely do with a little bit more happening with it, because right now it looks a little bit underappreciated. Only I think because there's such a large area of it, and it's right up near the head, which is a focal point, which is where we want to be looking. The head could do with being made a little bit brighter as well, because it kind of gets lost in that red, unfortunately. So that area is a little bit muddled on the miniature. I do like the base. I'm not overly sold on the snow. I think you either need to put a lot less of it or a lot more of it, and you've hit this weird middle ground where it isn't the best. Gentastic brush soap, not the nicest tasting thing ever, but I want to get a point on that. I'll let it dry for a bit. Overall though, mate, it's solid. Just a few things to tweak. Main unit. I saw this in the Discord earlier on. This looks like a very weathered croissant. Crap puns for the win. Has this been airbrushed, dry brushed? Is this oils? What's the secret to how you've been working this? Tony Spruce! What is it between you and Jaeger right now? Peckish! Hello, matey. Let's get a shout out for you if we can, please. How you doing? I love the murder French bread. Oh, I see. Yes. I'm doing well. But it's cool. It's a nice silver, to be honest. And it's got a lot of interest because there's other stuff happening around it as well. So, yeah. Looking good, dude. Looking good. Saragon. You will ride eternal, shiny and chrome. Jesus Christ. I mean, firstly, I've got to tell you that Balvenie Doublewood is my favourite whiskey. And so, good choice, sir. Really good choice. Way better than a Caribbean cask. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant picture. is this that shiniest paint in the world thing? Or is this something else? Or have you just legit bonded chrome to your fucking Tetras? Molotov liquid chrome. Okay. So this isn't the one that's being touted as the shiniest chrome ever, then. Okay. Okay. Check the reflection for any docs info. I'll let you guys CSI that shit. Okay, it's really impressive. Question for you about the paint, though. There looks to be imperfections in the reflection, which I'm guessing are where the surface isn't smooth. Now, I know you said you had some issues with this not being smooth. Is that all it is, or is the paint a little bit weird because of its chemical makeup? Let's see how paint sticks to this chrome. Yeah, you and me both. That was going to be my next question, was has he painted past this? So, he has tried. No, he hasn't. That's just a reflection of the fucking soda can. Canada Dry. God almighty, I hadn't had that in a long, long time. Liquid chrome is alcohol-based. I thought it might be. Crazy that, mate. Fucking crazy. Sand the shit out of the piece as smooth as possible. Yeah, definitely. AJ! How you doing, brother? Thank you very much for that raid. We're just dipping into Discord now for our work in progress gallery before we close out the stream. So if you'd like to put something in there, Toonie Sprues, getting the robot emotes in there, yes. One at a time. Fill the whiskey glass while I empty mine. But yeah, if you want to put something in the whip gallery, mate, you know how to get there. If we can get a shout out and give some follows to this man. In fact, Jaeger's already done it. Absolute boss. Who have we got? We've got Stefan KVH, Skull Joel, and of course AGS. How was your stream, bro? What are we up to? Stefan, thanks for the follow. Pass my piece to the next lucky winner. Totally will, mate. Totally will. Main unit. Is there a rune of blaster? I cannot take ally. That's when drop a armor shade on it and start brushing it. Got you. So it's washes that you've allowed to pull specifically to give you that look. Looks good. Looks good, dude. And Skull Joel, thank you for the follow as well. So this is really cool. I'm painting one of these at the moment, which we've done all of the oils section on. I'm just trying to get some free time to turn it into the finished product. I love the amount of tentacles you've got on the back of this guy. That's really, really cool. You've taken the ones off the shoulder, so I'll show you guys the normal mini. Skull, honestly, Twitch does this sometimes, so don't worry about it. The number of times I raid somebody and then go, oh, I'm not following you. That's embarrassing. But I know I have been. So this is the original mini. All of these horns that you get up here at the back, all those have come off. That Nurgling sat on the base in his own little crown of thorns. And then you've got, instead of this massive set of tentacles. That's fucking great. It's pronounced Skollen Yollen, like the song. Okay, I didn't know that. I don't actually know the song either. AJ, this is what we did tonight. We did some really, really shit non-metallic silver on our Blood Bowl bull. We're trying out the new ProAcryl paints. I say new, they're new to me. ProAcryl paints. Oh, Jolene. Oh my god. Okay. Jolene it is. Jolene it is. But yeah, that's what we did this evening. Let's get back over to the whip though. So yeah, I really like this. Thank you very much, Admiral Lance. He says, hopefully I'll make it to the stream today. This is one of my pox bringers I just glued together. For some variety, it comes in multiple the same model, so I chopped off the bones and replaced them with the bits from a beast at Nurgle, using the bone holding the as a bush/tree. Looks great. Exploding fruit. Not sure how I should paint the fleshy bits or chitin arms. Firstly, well done finishing the guy off. You were talking about not knowing what to do with a foot the other day. Looks like you've obviously decided on a little kind of three-toed foot. Brilliant. Cheers, Danny. Cock. Absolute cock. You were thinking about a Blood Bowl Minotaur? It's a good mini. I'm really liking it. For this, I would probably use something that's not too bright. The temptation to go with like a vivid purple or something could easily be there, but everything you've got is a very muted pale colour, and so I'd probably stay to that semi-desaturated palette. So you could go with light pinks. You could even use normal flesh tones. You know, that's not too wrong of an issue. Peachy flesh tone, yeah, there you go. So lots of things that you could do for the bone spikes, like the chitin. You might want to go really dark. So again, it's desaturated, but instead of it being the light side of the color spectrum, which is what you've got everything else, it's the other end. I quite like black highlighted up with like blue, greens, teals, that kind of thing. It gives you something that has this weird insectoid feeling, which kind of fits in with what you've got here. So maybe that. Nice to see it finish though, bro. Quid, finish the first of 6 Armigers, put a Hazard Strike cable as a tribute to yourself. No more blue skeleton. Awesome. Awesome. And yes, no more blue skeleton. That was weirding me out for a while. I like it, dude. Really, really like it. Yeah, top work, man. Got those Rival Craft Preserves ferns on the base. It's looking great, dude. Trying to find this cable now. Look at the other shots. Oh, that skull face looks great, dude. That's really nice. Squeezel! How's it going, dude? I see the Hazard Stripe chin stripe cable. Mate, that skull face is dope. That's right, I said dope. Yeah, I really like that. Smashed it, mate. Smashed it. Properly solid work. Well done. Right, Primus miniature painting. Getting some scenery done. I saw this the other day, and I was trying to work out why there's a hole in the billboard. This is genius. So you got some quality freehand right here. There you go. Loving that. This is the shredded freehand. And then we have... Oh, I see. I didn't see the white plastic card. Cool. So it'll look a bit more like it's been broken through rather than just a random hole. That makes more sense. I like what you've done with the base. You've got lots and lots and lots of texture there. That's cool. Great work on that ladder. We got a shot of the ladder? Yes, we do. Fuck me, that's some patience, that is. That's 2 bits of sprue, isn't it? It is, right? That's 2 bits of straight sprue that I assume, I hope, you've drilled through the sprue rather than trim the very ends off of cocktail sticks to glue them the other side. Please tell me you didn't do that. That's epic. Absolutely epic. Drill through the plastic. Thank fuck. The patience on you though, man. That's some quality stuff. Because that blue bar is a bit of sprue as well, isn't it? That's from the blue Space Marines that they do every now and again for things like your heroes and all that sort of shit. Got some balsa wood. You've put some wood grain into. You've done some work on this, mate. Yeah, if you want just a great big box of shit from my house, you're welcome to it, by the way. Damn, son. I am impressed. I am very, very impressed by this now. Like I said, I saw this in passing. I was like, why is that billboard got a hole in it? But that's so impressive. So impressive. Crazy Fish. Hi, great channel. I showed you this guy the other day. I thought so. Yeah, we had the sword you were finishing off. Thanks for the valuable feedback. Lieutenant Calcius and I finished. Your comments would be appreciated for my next attempt. Alrighty. So we talked a little bit about the blue. I see you've definitely taken that into effect on the chest piece. That looks much better. He's got Forrest Whitaker eye. He's got like that whole one is this and the other is this going on. So the way to fix that would be to paint on the helmet just around it. So just sort of subtract that out. Same kind of methodology you had to do on the chest piece. The sword looks really good. I was skeptical when you told me what you were going to do to it. I thought, I'm not sure of this. But I like it. You basically had some colour down with some white lines that you then put a glaze over the top of. I think what you could do though is go one step further, go back and then just pick out some of the points on the lightning that intersect. In tomorrow's Patreon video, where we talk about how we finished off the Void Dragon. Let's just pop him back up on screen. This is important. We obviously do all of the lightning. And there's a very similar thing that we do here that you could do in your mini, which is basically just anytime you get a confluence point, you just come back in and you add a little bit more to those areas. So those bits become brighter than everything else. I wouldn't necessarily go in with a white because it'll be too much of a difference. But if you took some white, mixed it down a little with a bright blue, so it's still brighter than what you've got, and just dotted that in those areas, that would be a nice focal point of that bit of lightning, that power field that you've got going on. Confluence point. It's a point where they all come together. Convergence point. That's what I meant. Convergence point. Ugh, it's late and I'm so done with you. Let's see. Everything else looks pretty good, mate. You could do with some highlights on your metallics, and that's actually also in the same Patreon videos, all about how to do the gold. So, could be a good one for you to watch that. Nice work on the parchment. Actually, really good there. I like that a lot. You've got a lot of those little horizontal slashes in there. I like how vibrant the blue is as well. You've gone really into a nice bright blue without it being too pale. Helps keep the power on. It's good. Solid work. This shoulder pad is some free real estate. There's a lot that you could do that. So you could try your hand at some freehand, which is tricky. You could do something very simple though, like the company he's with. So as part of the Ultramarines first company or third company, or I think gold is second, right? So you could do a simple enough Roman numeral in there. Anytime you've got a big area like this, it's crying out for you to do a bit of extra work, and I know that always seems a little bit like, oh god, now I've got to paint this as well, but it's an opportunity. Also, I would paint the end of his sword. I've only just noticed that, but from this picture it looks to be the same blue as the rest of his armor, and I'd probably just do it gold so it stands out a bit more. Tilt says, I'm also not sure what to do with the little spheres on the backpack. By little spheres, do you mean the vents either side of it? That's covered in the How to Paint a Dark Angel YouTube video. But essentially, do exactly the same sort of highlights that have happened here. Get the airbrush in over the top to get a nice volumetric highlight, and then that little highlight down the bottom of it, just up the side a little as well. Worth doing. Altering freehand is super simple. We've done that a couple of times on stream. We've even painted over one with a Dark Angel symbol for shits and gigs. Tilts, no idea if my glaze is too thin or too thick. First proper attempt at glazing between layers without wet blending. I don't hate it, to be honest. Yeah, I saw this, and it's not bad. Honestly, bro, it isn't bad. You can go darker at the front, but I wouldn't go any brighter than you've done. Crazy fish, no problem, dude. You know, that's what we're here for. If I were you, I would still get a solid base coat down over it, and then just work on one leg at a time after you've got that base coat down, because it's very difficult to see if your values are correct when you've got essentially what's nearly white behind it. Now, I appreciate it's a practice mini. I know that's the case because there's some flash on the end of that bolt pistol. It's not that you haven't even drilled your barrels, you haven't even cleaned the barrel off. And so we'll definitely just call this a practice mini. But get a blue down over the whole thing, and then you can see how bright you're going against the white. Or if you're using a black undercoat, which is what I do almost all the time because I prefer the darker shadows, you can see how dark you are against the black, and also how bright your brightest is against the darkest it could possibly be. So it helps you get those values down. Glaze a dark colour into the shadow. Yeah, so underneath the rounded knee pad, you've got that little bit there that just have a bit of a shadow. So you just glaze that in and work from sort of halfway down the leg at the front towards the knee pad and build those glazes up, maybe 10 to 15 layers to get that in, and you'll get that nice smooth transition one to the other. But it's good, dude. Let's look at the backpack in a bit more detail. Bizarrely, this looks rougher than the leg. Just going to block out the rest of it. Yeah, if you get rid of the rest of what's going on there, it looks a lot smoother. So, yeah, paint everything blue, then come back to it. Along with cleaning that barrel and drilling the barrel. To drill the barrel, take your hobby knife, just put the point of it into the barrel, and then just twist the knife about 12 times, and you'll get a nice, perfectly uniform drilled barrel. Jaeger, take care, bro. Thanks for sticking around to that, and thank you earlier on for your help on Discord, just making sure everybody else is able to interact with the stream. Really appreciate it, bro. Or a thumbtack. Yeah, I guess. Pin vise. Mate, I don't have a pin vise. And I have electric drills. And still both my thumbs, which is bizarre. Adding a Stormhawk Interceptor to the arsenal. Nice. Nice. I actually prefer the Interceptor to the gunship because it looks like it could actually fly. But also for a while, you just took the Interceptor because it was just better. I had one of each of these back when I had my Green Marines way back in... not long after 6th edition. So, no, not long after 7th edition, sorry. So... good luck with it, bro. Addict 084. This is one of the newest Blood Bowl minis, perhaps? I think. This looks good. The red is very shiny. I'm not sure if that's the paint. So using GW paints, you're usually very satin. It's a little bit more glossy than their usual stuff. So it's making it a little bit difficult to see whether there's been much in the way of highlights or shadows on it. But from what I can see, it looks like it could definitely benefit from both. Dark browns work really well on the GW reds because they carry quite a large amount of red in their dark brown washes. So you could use the Agrax and all that sort of stuff. Just wash it around the edges of it, wash into some of the crevices, don't put it over the whole thing. And then get some highlights going on. Evil Sun's red, Evil Sun's Scarlet, sorry, was one of my favourite reds. It was my favourite red for a very long time, in fact. I've replaced that recently with Cador Red from P3, which I find to be even better than that. Oh, it's contrast. Oh, that explains the gloss. Definitely explains the gloss. Okay, cool. Let's get a closer look. To be fair, I wouldn't have put that down as contrast. You've applied that very well, and you avoided a lot of the coffee staining that people get. The green I can definitely see as contrast, only because I recognise the colour more than anything else. So yeah, with your reds, the same like process to improve this applies. Add in some shadows, add in some highlights, and you'll see a little bit of a change in the way it comes across and reacts with the light and so on. A matte varnish wouldn't go amiss on this either, because that is extremely shiny, but that's my own personal preference of having very matte miniatures with highlights in exactly the right spots. Tilts, peace out, bro. So yeah, I like it, but there's definitely room to work. Sounds like you know what you've got to do. Let me see it when there's a team of them. Okay, let's get the team, all the orcs. Orcs are the one team I've never played in Blood Bowl as a serious team as well. Humans, fuck loads of times. Orcs, I think I've literally played 3 games in... Christ, like 25 years-ish. When did Blood Bowl 2nd edition come out? Because that's when I started playing Blood Bowl. Gecko, return to the chaplain, tried glazes. Not sure if it needs more layers or if I even did it right, and slowly building up base coats on the rest. And you've got a smooth progression to the purple, so yes, you've definitely done it right. Could do with just a little bit more of that like peak highlight to really snap some of that into focus, but I like that. Your shadows are very, very dark, and your purple's not particularly bright either, so just be careful about going too bright with the highlight. If you do, it will look very wrong, but so far, looking good. We've got purple, green, and red. I'm getting vibes of the Joker from this. I don't know if that's intentional or not. But that purple's really good. It's really, really good. The bone you can get up nice and bright. Everything else around it is very dark. So on the top of the bones, especially make up that rib cage, definitely start bringing out those highlights. Get those super bright glazes in there and lift that up. Make sure though that you have the contrast in there. So on the bottom side of those ribs, get those darker shades coming through, more of that reddish brown perhaps to help tie it all together. Crazy Fish, take care, bro. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you for sharing something in the whip. I'm liking it though, dude. I'm liking it. Solid progression. Lots of areas on this that you can use to bring some brightness and that sort of path to the mini as well. Those 2 long purity seals he's got definitely can get some work in there. Joker wasn't intentional. Okay, that's good. Here's some more from Addict. We normally only do 3 picks, but we'll take another look at this one. Yeah, it's good, dude. It is good. Keep it up. Keep it up. Crazy Ant, some early whip. Belisarius call. Did someone say Belisarius call? Tell you what, we've got... This is a spoiler for some content coming up later in the month. Probably within the next week or two. Oh yeah. I got 6 of these bad boys today. Fully magnetized on the shoulder gun, the hands. The hands are easy. You barely need to magnetize them, if I'm honest. And Call himself. You have chosen the hard path of painting a fully assembled Call. And I've done this before. In fact, I've done this before, and a photo was taken to put in the local paper of my Call. Yannick Minis Painter. Thank you very much for that follow and welcome. There's a lot of potential behind me. Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential in front of me as well. It's currently all over my fucking desk. That's commission. That's all stuff that's either for my own army or for stream giveaways. It was to promote my local hobby store. They had some guy come in, take photos for the Echo or the Citizen, I can't remember which one it was. And I happened to be there playing a game and giving the commission Belisarius Call to my client, who was a friend of mine that played in the store. And he's like, oh, can I take a photo of that? And therefore, it was in the paper. It's an absolute dog shit mini to paint when it's all together like this. Because just when you think you've got an all of one colour done without getting it on anything else, you find that you've missed a bit. Such a pain. It was one of the first times I really tried OSL as well, because the big laser cannon thing he's got, the sun gun, solar, I don't know, eradicator, I think. Is just crying out for it. I really like what you've done on the cloak though. That black to orange is very reminiscent of some John Blanche artwork. I'm not going to say it's the Blanchistu style, because there's a lot more that you'd need to do to turn it into that, but it's very reminiscent of that. Miss Half Damage! How you doing? Got a mindset and way of painting him. I'm going to be fine. I'm sure you will, dude. If anyone can do it, it's you. It's definitely you. But have fun, and I can't wait to see that guy finish. Does this mean you're starting an AdMech army now? Corn Demons to Imperial Fists to AdMech. Why not? Why not? The infamous nerd. I have no idea what I'm looking at here, bro. Lizard people and a skeleton. So maybe some D&D stuff? I guess. So let's just focus on the one on the right hand side. There's a lot of silver going on that guy, and it definitely needs some contrast. Think about Admech or Sisters. Admech are well, they're both crazy strong in terms of the game, but yeah. D&D, they're Dragonborn. Okay. Oh, you got some close-ups. Let's look at the close-ups then, in that case. Sorry to Darth Revan and a few other people. Wow, quite a few people. Tell you what, we'll leave it till we... here. Would you advise on getting the Dragonborn to look less flat if you haven't mentioned it? Would like advice. Yeah, totally. So, this is what I was going to talk about, is they do look flat, and that's because what you're missing is contrast. And I don't mean contrast paint. Absolutely not. I mean the difference between a dark area and a light area. The further separation you get through that, without it being too jarring. Type number 4, take care. The more people are going to want to look at your miniature. I've got loads of examples on my desk in front of me because this is how I like to paint. So let's grab one of the biggest examples, which is Silent King. So look at the purple, for instance. this guy looks like the shape he is. We've got super dark purple down here, and if we tilt the mini in plenty of the recesses, up around the face for instance, under the abs and so on, we've got loads of really bright areas on the mini, and we have that smooth progression from one to the other. That creates shape. Look up pictures of a light shining on a sphere, that kind of thing. You'll see a lot of these kind of very smooth sets of shades. Now, that takes some time and some skill to learn to do. Don't worry, I've got you covered, bro. Because even just the regular metallics here have got various things going on to them that make them not look flat. And all this is a couple of different metallics that I've airbrushed up, so we get a nice progression up to very bright at the top there, and very dark at the bottom, as you can see. And then a wash put on them. And that wash seeps into all the recesses, and it basically outlines the miniature for us. And with that outline, if we were to apply that on something like the back and the shoulders of this dude, all of those recesses, where the shoulders have that kind of like scaled armor, I guess, all of those recesses would just jump out a bit more. You'd get them lined in nice and sharply. Because of that, you get that change. You get the light to dark, and that's the first step. For most people, when they look at a miniature and go, I don't like it, doesn't look right. Trindor, how are you doing, dude? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. We're hopefully closing in on the end of the work in progress gallery. We've skipped a few, and there's not so many left. And then we will be going on and raiding somebody else. But if you'd like to show off what you've been working on today, then please, by all means, come and join in. I'm going to give you a follow myself. I don't recognize your name. Boom. There we go. But if you'd like to show off what you've been working on, !whip or !discord, and put a picture onto it. So yeah, that's essentially what to do. Add some shadow, add some highlight, and you'll get a mini that isn't flat. Changer of Ways, 1+ saves, Madel 1609. What's Discord? Discord. UEB66. That sounds like something that goes to Bristol, and that's the first half of their postcode. Who knows? But yeah, there you go. That's basically the feedback, is apply some washes, get some contrast in there, then add some highlights afterwards to a brighter version of the same colour that you've used. Stick around and watch the stream for a while. You'll see me doing that every single stream. That's my preferred painting style. I love that high contrast look. Speaking of high contrast look, love this yellow and a blue grey. It's a great Star Trek mini. Our tilt isn't here now, so there's no point in doing that. Today marks your last day as a bachelor. Dude, congratulations, man. Guess the ways are indeed changing. Trindor with some Iron Jaws base coating. Nice. Nice. 1+ saves you can. Ideally 3 or less pictures, because we need to get through them. It is now nearly midnight and I need to go to bed. I got fuck all sleep last night and I've got plenty to do tomorrow. This is great. This is some kind of Star Wars, and that's about as much as I know. Typed it wrong, so you click. Oh, bollocks! What a shout out you did. Cheers for letting me know, though, bro. I'll tell you what, I'll take Dez's, because, you know, trustworthy and all. I did wonder how he'd raided and wasn't online anymore. There you go, mate. I followed 2 people called Trindor now, so enjoy. I like it. I love the contrast. I love yellow. Yellow paint is always good. Always good on a mini. And you contrast it with a really nice cold colour, that sort of desaturated blue-black. Looks great. Banging. Merlin Miniatures, just working these line troopers. I like that little bit of purple you've got in there, mate. That brings that to life in a very different way. Boomba R06, thanks for the follow. No worries, man. Enjoy your D&D. Twitch has been absolutely buggered today. Yeah, haven't loved Twitch, but we managed to get through the stream okay, so, you know, it could have been worse. Yeah, good work, mate. Very clean. Loving it. This is what we were talking about a minute ago, that contrast. All of the recesses in here have been shaded so they're darker than everything else. It allows you to see all those details and stops the miniature from looking flat. This is the most important thing about mini painting, is making sure you have that contrast in there for me. Showcase all that detail. Exploding fruit back again. Can't see much in way of difference there, mate. We did look at yours earlier on. Let's not hog the spotlight. Lumin Death. I've got one of these that's probably going to end up in the in the giveaway at some point. I just haven't reached for it yet. Love the Venom Crawler. It's a sick, sick mini. I think painting all the trim would probably drive me utterly batshit, but it's not a Helldrake, so we've done worse. Great job here. I love what you've done with the base. That's just quality. Nice little Chaos Star going on. You could probably go a little bit brighter with your highlights on the sort of gold / brass / bronze, whatever kind of color that is. And maybe even on the silver as well. Just get a couple of very small edge highlights in there to help just showcase some of that detail. You've done a really good job with it so far, getting those washes in there, darkening those areas down. Now just lift up some of those. Pick out some key points here and there, use a bright silver, and just edge those up a little bit more. I'm loving it though, mate, honestly. Oh, that's gross. That flesh is nasty. Oh, I don't like it. I mean, I love it. It's just triggering that, like, oh no, that's the wrong response. Well done. Really well done with that. I'm not sure I can look at that anymore. Oh, hey, no. No. Ducks! Yes! Yes! Love the Void Dragon. Tomorrow I'm going to take photos of 2 Void Dragons next to each other. Because I can, and I love the Void Dragon. Tan the Man Souser. Thanks very much for that follow, bro. This looks great. I see this painted in an extremely Frozen-like style. Lots of highlights up from black, keeping it very, very tight in on that. Might want to glaze them out a little bit further, just so it's not quite so stark. But I like it, man. Do like it. Good work on that lightning. Good work on that lightning. Hashtag Fro. Yeah, for sure, man. For show. So here's the one I've just finished painting this week. This guy, the last episode of the How to Paint Void Dragon series will be on Patreon tomorrow. The previous episode is on YouTube right now. And that was all about how to paint the Blackstone. You can see a great example of the Blackstone up here, both by brush and by airbrush. And on Patreon tomorrow, there'll be a written guide on how to do all of that. But I love the Void Dragon. He's such a fucking sick mini. How it was second, I have no idea. Should definitely been first. Hashtag we was robbed. Looking forward to seeing more on yours, man. It's the only character mini, like unique mini, that I've painted 2 of in a short space of time. But I'd happily paint another one tomorrow. That's how much I like this mini. Also, man mode fully assembled as well. Good work. Good work. We just skipped those because we've seen a lot and spent a lot of time on your picks, mate. But thank you again for sharing. Breathe Hole 1, still learning, but a Poxwalker almost done. It is almost done, dude. You got thoughts on what you're going to do for the base? I love the skin. Nice and bright pink. Good contrast with the blue on the eye. That Blackstone is good, man. My recipe for that is... It's on Patreon now. Or will be tomorrow morning. There you go. It's on YouTube for free right now. So go and YouTube that shit. I like it. I love the kind of insect arm that you've given him there with your paint scheme. That's really, really nice. Very, very cool. I've also only just noticed this guy's trousers look exactly like Genius of the Occult trousers. I wonder how far in advance that was planned. Can't we connect, Mr. Letter J? Necron fans will storm Capitol Hill. I think that's too soon to joke about. Frankly, I think it's a horrible, horrible vision of the future of shit like that happening. But I appreciate you, just made in jest. Everything's funny or nothing is. That's the creed we live by. This was Sons of Rolo. So much building. Still want another wave up and 9 Shining Spears to come. Oh, fuck the Shining Spears. Also, Spartan Super Finisher Award. Look at you, bro. Dire Avengers, great kit. Warwalkers, great kit. Eldar Tanks. Fucking hate them. Wraithlord! Yes! Gonna do them my Yandon. Awesome. Awesome. Great colour scheme that as well. Be a massive contrast to those Space Wolves of yours, wouldn't it? Love Wraithlords. Absolutely love Wraithlords. We've got another one to give away at some point. What the hell? Not to grill. To grill. I don't understand, but I like your paint job. This is very similar to my own Necrons, the Kyberdyne dynasty. Obviously, rip off from the Terminator. But why would you not? Terminator's fucking awesome. You lined his chest. Oh, yes you did. Yes you did. Right, got it. Now, all I was doing was looking at the words basically, trying to work out what the thing was. I like the OSL. I'll show you how I did mine. They are a little different to yours. Most of them are upstairs, actually. But let's grab two more score effect. So, with the OSL on mine, you see a little difference between this and yours, just in the way we've chosen to do it. A little bit more multi, you'll see on the next one. Okay, cool. A lot of these are just the highlights on the underside of the external part of the chest piece. That's the bit I wanted to show you. So you can see there we've just done that underline on these and a little bit of a highlight inside there. And I think if you did the 2 grill with that underline on each of those rib areas, you'd really start to pick that out. Let's look at the next picture though. He's very cool. He's very, very cool. I can see there's been some color shift paint going on here, and it's not my bag, but I think you've definitely used it to good effect here. Yeah, I like it next to the orange because you've got purple and green, which both contrast off quite well. It's not something I'd ever use, but you've done a good job with it, so nice work. Really nice work. As far as the orange goes on here, I'd carry that on to these, and I'd definitely do that underlining part on the chest piece. Also though, and this is something you haven't mentioned yet, all of the, bizarrely, the grill, the radiator, plasma coil, whatever you want to call it, in the gun, you do some highlights on the top part of each of those as well, with again a brighter color, and that will just snap some of your OSL into focus a little bit more. I think that would work out quite well for you. Certainly if you used a similar orange to some of what you've done on the cape here, the cloth, then you're going to get a feeling of that going in there really, really nicely. I like him, dude. I really, really like him. I got Madel, and we're going to call it here. So anything past some Lord of the Rings dude. Sorry, I don't know their names. Then we'll call. This is a really, really nice cape. Lots of different colours there. I'm liking that. What are we looking at? Oh, holy shit! This is I can't remember his name. Begins with a G. Right, Gul'dan. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome, bro. Really, really love what you've done on the eyes of this guy. That's super good. Super, super good. Great skin tones as well. Is this printed? I really like it. And again, great job on the eyes. That's a beautiful, beautiful colour you've used for that. Really, really works. Nice. I know you've got some more in the whip, so we'll have a look at those in a sec. MC. Nice. Sergeant Joven. Or is it the guy from Doom? It's definitely Doom Marine as far as I'm concerned. Little bit of a conversion here. You've got what I think is one of the Death Watch Necron swords. Great job on the armor. You've gone super, super bright highlights on it. Harry, who's a friend of mine, does exactly the same kind of thing with his Ultramarines. Fantastic job on the face and the eye. Like, absolutely fantastic job on that. One of the best faces I've seen in the whip. I'm not exaggerating at all. Great tones for it. Very, very clean and tidy highlights on the back there. You've got lots of them in without it being heavy metal boxes on stuff. There's a couple of areas where you've kind of gone to it, like the leg on the left-hand side of him. But the leg on the right is super, super clean. And that baby pink sword. I'm not overly sold on the colour of it, but maybe once there's a base there and everything else, that'll be... that'll sort of tie in a little bit more. But it's very, very jarring from that. No, honestly, mate, the face, fucking perfect. Properly good. It's because there's so much expression there that looks real, right? Oh, it's Lieutenant Joven. Yes, of course, because he's got his little Primacy hat. Really, really good job. Trindor with some orc things, including one of my favourite Warhammer's miniatures. That guy right there at the back, the Cabbage Dragon. Super out of focus, I know, because of the distance, but this is great. And it's one of my favourite Warhammer Age of Sigmar minis. Really, really love that Drake. Plenty of boys. Got a load of what looks like... They used to be called Black Orcs, so I have no idea what they're called now. Iron Jaws, I think. Weird Boy. Painted that Weird Boy, and he's a great mini to paint. That plume of smoke coming up off the staff is a lot of fun. Lots and lots of fun. Liking the army, currently very dark, although that's a nice bit of green shading on that dude's face. Nice, man. It's going to keep you busy for a while. And then Madel, this is Sauron. Someone will tell me if I've got that wrong. It's not Saruman. Saruman was Christopher Lee. So yeah, it must be Sauron. And that's lovely. That's lovely. Lots and lots of super tiny brush strokes here, building up a really, really nice non-metallic metal. Top work, bro. I'm assuming there's more to come. I don't know if he's holding the eye, the glowy, like, raw. I can see what looks like it might have been the beginnings of maybe getting some sort of object source lighting coming in. You got a little bit of warmth going on essentially on this part of the arm and some areas on the front of his armor point. And I don't know if that's because there's something else going there or whether it's just the way you've done it. Twitch has been all over the place all afternoon by the sounds of it. Yeah, lovely, mate. Really, really nice work. Again, loads of contrast. That's what builds the interest. We've talked about it all night. And here is a ring wraith. Probably right. A Nazgul. I can't get into Lord of the Rings at all. I read the books as a kid, I read them again as an adult, I watched the films, I even watched extended versions of the films, and at that point I'm done. There, we're finished. Yeah, again, mate, solid work. Really, really nice. Nice effect of some dirt on the robes. I think maybe the grey highlights on them are a little too bright from what I remember. These guys are kind of shrouded in darkness and so on. Trindor, hey, peace out, man. Thank you for joining the stream and bringing that raid here as well. Much love, bro. See, I think maybe he's a little too bright, but you've executed it very well. The colour you've got there, that kind of little bit of bluey grey thing going on, it really works, but for me, I'd probably just darken him down a little bit to fit the sort of narrative theme of it. Now, I appreciate I've just said I can't really get into Lord of the Rings and then gone off on a narrative tangent for this dude. But for me, it's just keep him dark. Good work, though, dude. Really good work. Very, very clean execution all round on that. Right, let's go pass on the raid. Get the hobby love. Get it right this time. Once every now and again, mate. Stop clock and all that sort of shit, right? So, before we raid somebody, tomorrow is Patreon release day. And so tomorrow's videos will be the final installment. In fact, fuck it, I'll show you. Spoilers be damned. Go into the Patreon channel. So tomorrow is the last part of the Void Dragon, the finale, the gold, and the glow. I'm really, really proud of my thumbnail for this as well, so I hope you like it. But that is the final elements of how to paint this guy. So complete scratch from black undercoat to finished on all of the gold. We've got an airbrush tutorial for all of this aspect of it, and a brush tutorial for all of this aspect of it as well. So both are there. For the glow, it's pretty much predominantly airbrush work, as you can imagine, but there are a lot of elements of brush work as well. Now, that's the Patreon video release. We have a Patreon written guide release. If you are a weekly reader tier, you're going to get guides tomorrow. You're going to get 3 guides tomorrow, in fact. I've separated them up for ease. One for how to paint Blackstone, either with a brush or an airbrush. One on how to paint bone-style Necrons. I love this little guy at the back. He's great. And another one on how to paint the quickest, easiest power weapons you'll ever do. Honestly, this was about 4 minutes work. Done. Super, super easy. And as you can tell, it looks pretty good. So we've got all of that coming out tomorrow. Exclamation point Patreon for a link over there. We will be streaming again on Sunday. That was the wrong button to press. Sorry, Saturday. And on Saturday, we'll be continuing on with our Minotaur. Absolutely Evolution. As soon as you join, you've got access to every bit of content I've ever done. And then at the start of each month, your membership refreshes and you get the next month's worth of content. But it's that initial point, you get all of the back catalogue. So we'll do some more work on this guy. We'll try and get all the skin tones finished off. So that's the red and the flesh. Really push those ProAcryl paints. Try and get the base coats and everything else, like all of these little things. And then Sunday, we'll try and finish this guy off. So Saturday stream is 11 a.m. And Sunday stream will be 9 p.m. So hopefully you can join us for one of those two. Let's see who's streaming. Who haven't I raided for a little while? CNutBush you raid a lot. Slowfuse you raided only Tuesday. Walter's Workshop is on. I like him. He's good. 2.1 Brush. Let's see what they're doing. They're doing some Blood Bowl. Yeah, I like this guy. And he's a really good painter. And he's doing a Blood Bowl halfling. So fuck it. We've done Blood Bowl. He's doing Blood Bowl. Everyone doing some Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl for everybody. Let's go with that raid. So when you get there, let them know where you come from. Spam those emotes. Get them meeps in the chat. Keyboard is on. Oh, fuck you, Twitch. Fuck you. We can't raid. We can't raid. Oh. Twitch, you suck so much. Okay, so we can't raid, and so that's really annoying. I've literally typed in the command as a chat command. That's how I do my raid. How do you raid? I normally copy paste the chat name off of the thing, type /raid, control paste. But carry on then, mate. I need sleep. I need sleep. No, it's not even that. I just can't actually chat. So then, oh, let me try the dashboard then. Fuck's sake. How do we raid in the dashboard? Come on, Peckish. Talk me through it. It's got a raid button. I mean, I'm not sharing this screen, but mine doesn't. You mean like the Streamlabs dashboard? Oh, you said the creator dashboard. I'm in the wrong dashboard. My bad. Create dashboard. Come on. You're still trying to load. Raid channel. It started it on here. So hopefully you guys get a notification. There's 44 of you ready to raid. Fuck it, let's do it. Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. I know Twitch was an absolute bitch, but we got there in the end. I really appreciate you sticking it out. Peace, everyone. See you Saturday.